it safe, and you can see it. It's easy for me to show, but sometimes I'm really brave, and that just means that I'll try again tomorrow. It's my doubt creating mountains where the valleys used to be. Gotta change perspective.
Second day of racing here in Puerto CALERO, great anticipation on the dock. Big thing yesterday, such a contrast to Marina Rubicon. Last month it blew more than 20 knots every single day. Yesterday it was about precision sailing, it was really heads out of the boat, watching to see what the breeze was doing, anticipating and reacting. The best of the day was Vayu. Vayu lead at the top of the table. They've led in Puerto Portales on the day one of the season. They a little bit crumbled after that, but can Vayu hold on? Got Dylan Whitcraft walking past there. He's looking confident, smiling, but Vayu under pressure. But it's going to be another great day. Very unstable, shifty breeze, quite light. And we caught up with Andrea Vicentini from Sled, who gives us the full details. Andrea, tough day for Sled yesterday.
Yeah, tough day yesterday. There have been a lot of up and downs. There's a lot of position changes through the race. The race course is pretty tricky, difficult to have a good view of everything. Wind direction changes pretty quickly, big pressures, big wind holes, so eyes out of the boat, and the key will be just to react as fast as possible to the wind changes, yes.
What's causing that instability in the wind?
Well, the instability is caused, basically we have a northerly gradient, and on the top of the island it splits in two, so we have the gradient here, we have it blowing offshore, and that's really shifty with a lot of holes. And we had the big band of breeze, which just shift. It's 4 miles offshore, and basically we have these two winds fighting, and the offshore breeze is keeping the offshore breeze from really developing, and so it messes it a little bit up. So
more of the same today as yesterday?
It's more of the same. The gradient is a little lighter today, which means as far as this big pressure stays outside, we may have a little bit more stable conditions, but it's forecasted to come closer, the big breeze, and this will mess up the race course. So it's all about where we will race. If we go outside 4 miles into the big breeze, or if we stay closer to shore in the shifty stuff.
How's the mood in the Sled camp?
Well, we're always good. Always good. We're having fun despite of yesterday, so we're positive and looking to having a good day today.
Any special briefing this morning?
No, we kept it as normal, as usual. We have our team bike ride in the morning, and we don't speak about boats.
How do you find it on the bike then? You're a runner.
It's getting me, yeah. It's getting me. I just bought a bike now, so yes, all good.
Can you beat Keko?
No, not yet. No. He's unbeatable. He's quick.
Good. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, cheers.
So that was Andrea Vicentini, who's bought a bike. He's a runner who's now going cycling with the Sled cycling team. But let's look back at the highlights from yesterday. Welcome to Puerto Claro here in the sunshine island of Lanzarote. We're 20 kilometres east along the coast of Marina Rubicon where we were last month. It's a new, different racecourse area. Many of the sailors know it from the other classes, but this is summer, trade winds are in and different, and we've got 13 boats racing, 11 different nations. It's been a real race against time for the Gladiator to be ready after that rig problem. Let's go racing. So race number one, the breeze is at 025 degrees, around about 10 knots on the start line. Provezza come off the start line nicely, and close to the right end of the line is Gladiator. Vayu are over the start line, have to recross, and Provezza have a game plan, very definitely working the left side, and they go round the top mark just ahead of Gladiator. Round in third is Allegra. Platoon Aviation in fourth. Solid first run from Provezza. They lead through the leeward gate with Gladiator in second, Allegra third. Vayu making a nice recovery after having been over the start line, come round in fourth place at the leeward gate. Through the finish line, it's the second race win this season for Provezza. Through in second are Vayu. Gladiator get third, and a nice recovery from Sled. They were down in 10th at one point, come through for a good fourth on a very, very close finish line between Sled, Allegra and Platoon Aviation, 4th, 5th and 6th. So breeze has gone slightly further to the left. We're now in a breeze which is west of north. A little bit more pressure for race 2 on the start line. It's quite even off the line. Actually, the best start is from Alkedo Citalar, which is going best on the first upwind. Round the top mark, it's Alkedo leading, Sled in second, Paprec third, Provezza going well, until Provezza lose their kite in the water at just the wrong time. Alpha Plus have done really well out on that left side, coming down the first run. Through the leeward gate, Alpha Plus are leading on the left-hand mark, looking upwind. Big gains up the second upwind to Vayu, who got a really nice shift getting into contention, but down the final run of race 2, it's Alpha Plus coming through the finish line with a nice win for them. Platoon Aviation get through in second, Vayu come through in third and lead the regatta. Regatta standings after 2 races here in Puerto Claro. Vayu lead on 5 points, second Provezza on 8 points, and Platoon Aviation also on 8.
Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
Well, very good afternoon. Welcome back to Puerto Claro. It's day 2 of the Puerto Claro Lanzarote 52 Super Series Royal Cup Regatta. Second regatta back-to-back here on the beautiful island of Lanzarote. We saw strong breezes in out of Marina Rubicon last month, but it's been fairly sedate, real tactical racing, real heads out of the boat racing yesterday. A little bit of a return to kind of almost Mediterranean style racing, and lots and lots of place changes, particularly in that second race. Close finishes. Vayu on top. They have led a regatta before. They've won a regatta before overall way back in Newport, Rhode Island, but they are leading by just 3 points after day 1. A second and a third yesterday. Nice, consistent scoreline. So many teams had a big one and a small one as well. A good result, a not so good. Pravetsa, I think, a kind of woulda, coulda, shoulda. They lost that kite in that second race where they could have been leading the regatta, but things moving in the right direction for Ergen Imre's team. They're in second on 8 points. Platoon Aviation, a pretty solid day all in all on 8 points. Crioula, as I say, my slow burn team, they're nice and consistent. They're in fourth at the moment. They can go up or down today. 11 points for them, seventh and a fourth. Alpha Plus then not so good in the first race, but that really good strong win for them, boosting their confidence, and they're lying in fifth place. I think that Sean Kang, the owner, is not on board today, but his wife Tina Kang, the co-owner, is on board. So great experience for her today, and let's see how Alpha Plus go. No way back. Peter Rima 8th and a 5th, 13 also for Allegra, 14 for Sled. Not such a great opening for them, but nothing changes. 15 points for Gladiator, much the same as Sled in terms of performance. Trinity Racing in 10th, Paprec in 11th, and Alkedo Setalar. Both these teams challenging for third step on the podium, both having a really modest opening yesterday. In fact, both teams getting amalgamating or aggregating probably just about more points over yesterday than they did in the Marina Rubicon Regatta. So we have Robbie McCutcheon with us in the studio. We have Katie Dabson on the water. What's your thoughts for the day, Robbie? I mean, obviously Vayu under a little bit of pressure. Nice to be leading after day one, but you have to sustain it.
Yeah, exactly. Good afternoon, Andy. Obviously, Vayu having a fantastic day yesterday. They were, one of the only teams that got 2 proper keepers under that top 5, so they'll be very, very happy. I actually caught up with Pom Green, the mainsail trimmer on board Team Vayu yesterday, and he mentioned that the team know that they're fast in these conditions, so they just need to be tactically strong around the race course. Don't be aggressive, play the percentages, and that's exactly what they did yesterday to come out with a good scoreline.
Indeed, but there's so many teams had a kind of up and down day. You need a little bit higher level of consistency, but it's not an easy racetrack, is it? No,
that's right. I think all these teams will still be trying to figure out sort of the blueprint. It's not a very one-way track for any of these teams. It's very shifty, and there's lots of changes in breeze pressure as well. So all these teams will be trying to figure out their best strategy, and it's definitely a game of who can improve the fastest, Andy.
Indeed, and Katie, then yesterday the breeze was very streaky, wasn't it? You could see the streaks coming down off the land. Big changes in wind pressure. It was interesting to hear Andrea Vicentini this morning talking about the holes that you don't necessarily see them until you're sailing and racing on the racetrack.
Yeah, it made it super difficult because especially when it's kind of in that borderline powered to underpowered. If the lulls are underpowered and you get into a lull, then you lose so much speed compared to the boats around you, and then boats end up sailing around you. And I think on the downwinds as well, that was really critical to kind of not sail yourself into a hole, because it just meant that everyone around you could sail around you. And I think, yeah, that made yesterday a really, really tricky day, which is why we've seen such kind of most of the teams, with the exception of Vayu, have got a good score and also a kind of score they're probably unhappy with, but at least they're all in good company with each other. It's one thing. At least it's everyone's in the same boat.
Indeed, but when you say that, Katie, trying to avoid the holes and sail to the pressure, what's the answer there? How do you do that?
I think you've got to really have your head out of the boat. You've got to really kind of try and be looking quite far upwind, and I think if you kind of take your eye off the ball on that, then it's quite easy to get stuck. But also, you want to be able to keep yourself free enough on the course around other boats, so that if you see pressure, you can go to it, or if you see kind of a hole, you want to be able to get out of that where you are. And if you get yourself pinned in with a lot of boats around you and a lot of traffic, then it just makes it a lot harder to be able to avoid those holes.
I think that's great thinking, Katie, and I think we'll just wait and see whether we can, some of the teams manage to follow that idea. Now, tell me, you were in on the Gladiator weather briefing this morning. How does that correspond to what Andrea Vicentini was saying?
Yeah, so I think the breeze is a bit further right today. We're still quite close inshore, so it's a bit more of a similar direction to the practice race day, but a lot lighter. But as I said, we're in a slightly different area. There's a little bit of chop out here. Again, not as much as a practice race day, but enough to make it a bit awkward for the boats, potentially, especially on port. It looks like the boats sailing on port have got to go kind of through the chop, but it looks a little bit harder to find a mode on port potentially. But I think for me, the priorities of the day from that briefing were kind of getting off the start line, sailing towards the pressure, and I think that left-hand side might be quite strong from where we're sat. I think the direction the wind is in is potentially going to be a little bit less shifty because it's not quite as offshore. But I think that wind bend around the left-hand side of the on the left-hand side of the course should probably come into effect a bit more today.
Indeed, Katie, thanks. In terms of risk management, Robbie, now, teams like Gladiator, Trinity, Paprec, Alkedo, who are all pitching, or certainly the likes of Alkedo and Paprec, who are really trying to push themselves back up the leaderboard. What do they have to do on a course area like this?
Well, I think they don't need to be too aggressive. Obviously, you mentioned that they need to catch up a few points, but if in terms of the actual process and their thinking, these are obviously very well-established teams, and they're very good at racing. So they would just want to go out and try execute their game plan the best they can. I mean, we're day 2 of a five-day event, so it's still very much the start of racing, and I'm sure those guys will just want to be able to go through their processes and try really execute their strategies.
Katie, it's still, as Terry Hutchison's is so fond of saying, it's still about chipping away at this stage, is it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially with the points as tight as they are, it's not like anyone's kind of extended away heaps on the first day. And I think it's going to be all about chipping away, trying to keep the scores as low as possible. Especially we've got breezier forecast for the end of the week, and as we saw in when we were in the last event, there's a lot more scope for things to go wrong when it's breezy. You've got sails blowing up, you've got more potential broaches, you've got all sorts. So I think if I was kind of racing, I'd be thinking, let's try and really bank some counters for this at the start of the week, so that it takes the pressure off at the end of the week when it's potentially a bit breezier and a bit more difficult conditions.
Now then, sled kind of lower mid-table, shall we say, in 8th, a 4th and a 10th yesterday. They're still sticking to their processes, Katie.
Yeah, I think they know that they're a strong team. Everyone else knows that they're a strong team. I don't think they need to really... They had not the best day yesterday, but I don't think that is probably going to shake them. I think they, just stick to their processes, and I think they can probably be pretty confident that it'll come good if they keep doing what they've been doing for the rest of the season that we've already seen.
Robbie, that second race, it was so close in the finishes that the difference between that 10th and 4th or 5th was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. The sort of last downwind run, we saw a lot of boats really congested in the middle of the pack, and it was a real, tussle between these boats, just one boat length in between about 5 boats in the middle of the downwind. It was lighter conditions, and they were getting affected by that swell, so that really made it difficult to really try and get a jump on the opponents, and unfortunately, in Sled's case, they didn't get it quite right, and they just dropped a few points at the end there, Andy.
It was just pretty much on the finish line. Anyway, 2 minutes, or just more than 2 minutes to go. Let's have a very, very quick look at the season standings. I think that Platoon Aviation pulled back 6 points on Sled, so there is now 11 points between Sled and Platoon Aviation, 134 to 145. Alkedo Settle are still actually quite comfortable at the moment in third, despite that big score yesterday. So too for Paprec, although no way back, they're catching up a little bit on Paprec, and otherwise Alpha Plus and 183, 184 for Trinity Racing, 197 for Preveza, and two battles all the way to the fifth. We're at a minute and a half to go. This start line a lot of bucks sort of in the middle to going for that 4 minutes.
Seconds into the start.
25 seconds, the final speed build.
Seconds into the start.
25 seconds, the final speed build. We can see Alkedo there have a nice position. Andrea Lacorte bulls the the bow down, but I think he's just a little bit late in doing that. Now, Platoon Aviation really getting on the line. I think they may just have poked their bow over a little bit early, just dipping back. They don't have any room to run down the line, do they? And it's looking good for Paprec. It's looking a little bit dicey for me for Platoon Aviation at the moment.
Very punchy for those boats at the pin end. Also for me, Paprec and even potentially Preveza. So we see there Platoon having to slow up straight away.
For Platoon Aviation then over the start line. Sled also over. So what about that? The top 2 boats for the season at the moment having to recross, and Sled will take the advantage there by getting back through the line quicker. But really that's going to be a difficult uphill climb for these 2 boats coming back. But it's indicative of the pressure they're under at the moment. You really have to get off the line nicely. But Paprec and Preveza get off the line nicely. Actually, in the end, Alkedo, Settler, not so bad, but they're just a little bit slowed in the final seconds, Robbie, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right. They were just a little slowed. Like you mentioned, they do have a nice lane, but we've also got Trinity, who's had a nice start at the boat, and they've elected to tack off straight away. So they're our furthest right boat, and they're almost the only one out of this bunch heading out onto on port tack, out to the right-hand side.
And Gladiator too, they're just going quite nicely in that shot. Sled actually probably not lost too much if they can make that right side work. And in the end, actually, it's tough for Platoon Aviation. But we saw them be over the start line in Marina Rubicon and fight all the way back to win the race, but it's very different conditions. We've only got like 10, 11 knots of breeze. Paprec starting nicely. Our early leaders, Katie, along with Preveza.
Yeah, I think Paprec will be happy with that start. I think I was chatting to Stefan on the dock earlier, and I kind of was asking him about yesterday, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we got really good starts, but it was just one of those days where we were always on the wrong side of the course. One of those days where when you're on the left, the right pays, and when you're on the right, the left pays." And I think that was quite frustrating for them. So again, another really good start for them, and I kind of hope for them and their confidence that they can make this upwind work. But I think there's a couple of different strategies going on by the looks of it. You've got Trinity and Gladiator going out to that right-hand side, potentially looking like there could be a little bit more pressure on that right-hand side. But then it's whether you get the wind bend on this left-hand side. Having listened to a lot of the guys talking in the Gladiator briefs and stuff like that, they have spent a lot of time here with the RC44s, I think, like quite a lot of the sailors have. And they were saying that the left-hand side is often strong as long as there is pressure. So it's just, I guess, weighing up whether there is enough pressure out on the left for it to be strong, or whether the pressure's out potentially on that right-hand side, which is maybe what Gladiator and Trinity are kind of aiming for on that right-hand side.
Well, there you go, no way back, just getting across the front of Platoon Aviation and Sled. Platoon Aviation and Sled locked together, super close after that early start. But Paprec, Preveza and Alpha Plus, early leaders. Alkedo, Settler, say a little bit tardy just in pulling the pin, as it were, on the start line, but they're going well. And what's the plan for Platoon Aviation at the moment, Robbie? What do they have to do?
Yeah, well, it looks like they just sort of wanted to put the hammer on Sled there. Obviously, they're sort of the 2 boats that came off the line last after being OCS, so they're just putting the hurt on them. They do have a bit of a lane, however, on the starboard board, which seems from the fleet to be the favoured board at the moment. So they're still just trying to sail and sort of get out, sort of try to get bow even with the fleet and just sort of play it from there. But definitely a tough sort of spot to come back from.
So Alpha Plus there going across on starboard from their position. Not sure they were in a position they could really live with, but they're clearly wanting to get back. Watching the Platoon Aviation and Sled more in the middle of the course, and then out on that right side, Gladiator. And no way back, wanting a piece of the right, Robbie.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't get the best of start, so they're sort of having to chance their arm out that right-hand side. They didn't quite get a clear lane on starboard with the fleet, so they're just heading out to the right-hand side. But we see early advantage here for these boats who have gone out to the left. Sort of similar to how we saw it yesterday. Obviously different conditions, different direction, but there's a bit of an advantage first up for these left-hand boats.
Indeed, there seems to be just a little bit less pressure where Preveza and Paprec are pretty much endorsing what Katie was saying on board briefly with Preveza there, Colli Parada saying, right, okay, I think we probably want to get out of here and get across to the right. Paprick, I think, thinking about it.
I also wonder, Andy, we obviously see these boats going straight into the swell, straight into the chop, so their bows are having to slap down. I wonder if...
just watching Prevezza having to go, or elected to go behind Alkedo and Setelar.
Yeah, just keeping their air clear, having to go behind them, and it'll be interesting to see with this cross, Alkedo, Setelar having to tack as well, so potentially a bit of a left-hand shift, but what I was going to say is maybe it's a bit flatter water out this left-hand side, potentially further in the lee of the land, and especially in this sort of 12-knot condition, you really want to keep that bow movement to a minimum. We see Paprick just going up and down and sort of slapping into those waves.
We do, but they're a good thing for Paprick, as they now have a boat between them and Prevezza. But how's the right side looking on the tracker?
Yeah, we've got the 2D here, just no way back, that furthest right-hand boat now. We've got Gladiator sort of coming back into the middle of the fleet from that right-hand side, but it does look like those right-hand boats are still at a bit of a disadvantage. We have Sled, who we saw come off the line sort of in the last position. They're trying to chance their arm out to that right-hand side, but you can see them on your screen now. They're not as advanced as some of those other boats on the left.
And they're not indeed. But Katie, just in terms of the geographic positioning, you say we're in a different race area to yesterday.
I think we're in kind of a relatively similar race area to yesterday. We're in a different race area to the practice race day, which is when we had this direction. So we're a bit more on the practice race day. We're a bit more offshore. So when we were racing, the left-hand side was strong on the practice race day, but it kind of got stronger as you went up the beat. As we're a bit closer in, you'd maybe, as we're kind of seeing here, start to see the left-hand side being stronger a bit earlier. I mean, Paprick's looking pretty nice for me where they are at the moment. And as you were both saying earlier, like it does feel a little bit flatter out here, especially compared to the start line. Just going upwind on the rib, I'm being thrown around a little bit less, which is quite nice. And I know on the boats, they're going to be feeling the same thing. So I think that will give them potentially a little bit more speed compared to the boats that are having to fight their way through this chop.
Yeah, just on board with the Paprick, getting a great perspective as they watch Prevezza and Alkedo Setelar. The key thing for them, watching Gladiator coming across at them. Gladiator on quite a low angle coming across, and the breeze seems to have pulsed down the course a little bit, get strengthened on this left side. I think probably it's much more about pressure on this side than lift at the moment.
Yeah, that's right, Andy, and it was a nice shot there of Paprick. You saw the trimmer just down to leeward, being very, very dynamic. You know, we see these sort of short chop is really affecting these boats, so a little bit of movement in the lead and the sheet of these jibs, just to really get as much power and as much grunt as you can to drive through these waves, Andy.
Indeed, just watching Vayu, the regatta leaders, in sixth at the moment. They have Allegra to weather, so food for thought for the moment for Vayu. They'd certainly want to be going forwards from that position, but they've got a reasonable lane on where they are at the moment, haven't they? Just out to the left.
Yeah, that's right, they do, and I touched on it before. They definitely are confident in their speed in these conditions. You also mentioned about the sort of silver bullet that they have in these sort of light airs, so we mentioned the tactics, just playing the percentages for them and just sort of staying in touch with the fleet.
As much as anything, they seem to like to try and get a clear lane and let that speed in these light to moderate breezes, let the boat do the work, as it were, to try and stay out of trouble. It's anyway, that seems to be the strategy at the moment.
Interesting to note, Prevezza just sort of climbing up on Alkedo.
Yeah, they seem to have quite a high mode, didn't they? They managed to climb up from a kind of more leeward position. You can still see it now. They've just got a little bit more height than Alkedo and Paprick. Of course, the two of them engaged in their own battle, and that's working to Prevezza's favour at the moment. But Prevezza, for me, really do seem to have the bit between their teeth, Katie, don't they? Seem to be going well.
Yeah, I think Provezzo actually did a really nice job of tacking out a bit earlier. I think if there is any sea state, you don't really want to be stuck in a tight lane with boats below you, because it means that you're not able to sail your own mode, and you're not able to kind of really, as you were saying about what Vayu likes to do, let the boat do the work. That is kind of what you need to do in these conditions when there is chop. You need to let the boat breathe. You can't force it to be in any kind of modes, and I think Provezzo tacking out early before Alkedo and Paprec, it just meant that they were leading out. They've got no one tight below them, so they really are able to kind of squeeze out the height when they can, but also there's no pressure to do so, whereas Alkedo, who's tighter above them, they're going to have a much harder time to try and like kind of live in that lane.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think for me, really nice decision by Provezzo on that tack timing, to be honest.
Absolutely, and case in point, as you say, Alkedo against Paprec just now, second and third, or third and fourth, depending who you're looking at. Interesting though, Alpha Plus coming away to the right, but I think as much as anything, I think that's about having a clear open lane, and again a quick boat in the light to moderate conditions. An older generation 52 started life as Luna Rossa, and Luna Rossa was always a quick light winds boat, and obviously was prepared and optimised to within an inch of its being.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. We see both these sort of Asian teams loving these conditions. I just want to point out also Trinity went out to the right-hand side early on that first beat, and now they're the furthest boat left. So they're on that pin and port ley line, which is really interesting to see their sort of strategy. They don't want to get caught up in the middle. They're happy playing either edge, which is, from Ed Baird's sake, it's obviously a strategy of his.
That has been his hallmark so far this season with a new team. He knows that in Joachim Sundberg he is an owner who is relatively new to Grand Prix sailing, but someone who absolutely has fantastic concentration, a good feel for the boat, and able to process the numbers and keep the boat going quickly. And so the objective of the afterguard there is really to give him his best possible opportunity to sail the boat fast in a straight line and not get tied up in boat-on-boat battles, either going up the upwinds or indeed getting round the mark. So Trinity at the moment 5th. They had a 10th and a 6th yesterday on the opening day, but Platoon Aviation just picking their way through the fleet slowly. Katie, I think Platoon Aviation are actually looking quite quick in general now.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one, actually. I was just thinking it was quite impressive that they've come from being over, and they're now very much back into it. I think they've definitely kind of found their wheels again, found their speed again, and I think they seem to be very much on the up. I quite like where they've positioned themselves. I think for me, Trinity is potentially a little bit high on the ley line. Just looking at their speeds, they're in a super low mode. They were kind of going up towards 10 knots at one point, so potentially that kind of tells me that they're pretty over ley line, and I think finding that place to tack in on the starboard ley line is going to be quite tricky, because you've got quite a few packs of boats that you've got to navigate through. But I think for Platoon to go a tricky start, it looked like they just punched a little bit too early. I was kind of watching them like, no, slow down. But yeah, I think for them to get themselves back very much into this race, they're definitely a lot quicker at the moment, and I think I'd expect to see them to kind of keep chipping away and keep picking off places throughout the rest of this race.
You've got to chuckle a little bit with Platoon and No Way Back Vasco and Terry are on converging courses once again on the same piece of water. Sled really not managing to get away, or not managing to match Platoon for the recovery so far. But it's interesting. You don't want to speak too soon, but maybe Sled are not quite as quick in these light to moderate conditions at the moment, but we'll see. But Robbie, it's interesting, the mind games, and Sled would certainly say there's no mind games involved. They just keep doing the same thing. They have their confidence in their boat. But it's funny that Platoon Aviation in particular harm less so Vasco, but I think Vasco's and the team are much more up for the challenge, as it were. But Harm, coming ashore yesterday, saying he loves to be ahead of sled, and he loves to put some points on sled each and every day. But it's a great duel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. A definite battle between these teams. They're both obviously very well established, and they've been in the fleet for a very long time with sort of the same guys all throughout. So it's not a way to think that they're not going to duel it out at the top of the fleet, and they're exactly doing that this season as well as every sort of race we have. So it's definitely fair enough to try to take points from your competitors, but obviously we're in fleet racing here, and they want to get the best points they can for their racing. And you mentioned the duel between the two. It's all in good spirit, and it's all fighting out on the water, and they'll still have a beer when they come in afterwards, Andy.
Just watching then, this is a fantastic, once again, so many boats coming in from the left upwind, Katie. And once again, you can just see Platoon Aviation just adjusting course very slightly. Trinity having to come down to get round that protector mark, but it is Preveza round the first mark with a lead. Paprec, I think, will get round in second, both starting side by side off the pin end of the line. But what a great first upwind from Preveza. Really, they made that perfect move, as Katie said, just tacking a little bit earlier to establish their position, able to use a little bit of a high mode to get establish their lead. Paprec, credit to them as well, an Alpha Plus round in third, Robbie.
Yeah, really cool to see Alpha Plus coming round in that top bunch as well. They didn't do the conventional head out left with Paprec and Preveza. They did come out from that right hand side, so really cool to see that you can work the edges and still be in that top bunch. It's really, really tight here for Platoon. They're going to have to bail out. Wasn't able to fit it in there in between Crioula, so that's a big mistake from their team, just trying to push the ley lines a little bit too hard there, Andy.
I think not only trying to push the ley lines too hard, but Crioula giving them absolutely no quarter. And once again, a big expensive mistake at just the wrong time for them, and having to go all the way back, Katie, to join the back of the fleet. That really is hurting the Platoon Aviation team. Just when we've been giving them so many plaudits, it's back to zero.
Yeah, I mean, that's so gutting to watch. And we've seen that so much this season. We've seen so many boats kind of not quite getting that ley line right. And as you say with Crioula, not giving them an inch to get to kind of tack in there and to be able to make it round. I think these boats are reflecting the level of, like, the standard increase in the fleet is reflected in how no one can give an inch anymore. Like, you can't let anyone have a bit of space, because they will capitalise and they will take the place off you, and you can't afford it in the overall standings or in the regatta standings. So the racing is really, it's really developing, and it's really pretty epic to see.
It is indeed the saving grace, the silver lining, such as it is for Platoon Aviation, is that Sled are just 2 places ahead of them. But let's give love and kudos at the moment to Preveza. Fantastic first upwind. They're really looking like a much more cohesive, fast unit than they have at some point through the season. Paprec pushing them hard behind.
It's actually Crioula as well, electing to be one of the first boats to jibe out, so potentially a bit of inside pressure going behind the boats, as we see Paprec trying to follow to do the same thing. As they get further out to this sort of right-hand side as we look at on screen, looking downwind, they are getting into more under the lee of the island, so those 2 boats that jibed out earlier potentially just wanting to clear their air and just get further away from the island, Andy.
Copy for sure. I think that doesn't take a mathematical genius to work out that Preveza will be leading the regatta at this point. Not just leading, but in fact by quite a comfortable margin for the considering we're on race 3. Preveza would be on 9 points if nothing happens. Alpha Plus would be on 15. Crioula on 15. Vayu 16. Platoon Aviation 20, 20, 21 for Gladiator. 22, 22, 24, 24. I mean, the points after the let's say after Vayu are so super close with in this race number 3, but I think could we say orange is the new black? Maybe this could be a regatta for Preveza and Crioula. However, Alpha Plus plan to upset that hierarchy.
They're definitely sailing really well, and as we see Preveza go downwind there. I was caught up with Fongo this morning just before they docked out, Daniel Fong being the kite trimmer on board Team Preveza. He was just talking to me about sort of their mode changes downwind. And, you know, we can see now with this shot that they're running with the swell on one jibe, and then they're sort of going against it on the other one. So he was just saying, obviously, needing to keep the power when you're running into the waves and just really try to get over them. But then when you're running with them, you can really put the bow down and sail a soaked mode. And that's really what's been helping them downwind. And he also mentioned the kite selection as well. You'd expect most of these teams to potentially be on their A15 or their A2. He mentioned that the A2 was their kite for yesterday, and it just brought them a bit of goodwill just in case they sort of had the shock load of the waves and potentially don't want any blow-ups, Andy.
No, I think we've got slightly lighter breeze, but it's great info. But interesting, I think at the moment we've seen Paprec manage to sail a slightly lower mode. Stefan Neve there, the main sheet trimmer. We're with Jerome, who's our part-time cameraman, full-time runner trimmer. He's got his family here enjoying this week, so big shout out to them. And they have taken the lead for the moment.
Yeah, it looks like on the
just
2D.
saying that they,
Just talking about...
Sorry, Katie, go on.
No, I was saying, just talking about Paprec on the downwinds, I've kind of noticed a trend with them on... They seem to be the boat that really does use the moding the most out of the rest of the fleet. Like, we've really seen them in the last regatta, they really aggressively went for the high modes to try and roll over the fleet, and then now they really are trying to use the low mode to get kind of inside people. And I think actually out of all of the boats in the fleet, their mode choices seem to me to be the most definitive downwind, and it's really interesting watching how they use those mode changes to kind of get the gains and kind of tactically get the advantage.
Interesting. All the teams seem to have beefed up the lower front quarter of the spinnakers there, strengthened attack and that leading edge. So too, I guess, Allegre, but it's super close between Preveza and Paprec. But yes, Katie, I fully agree with that. I think that Paprec have got very definitive modes, and they switch between them, quite kind of categorically, as it were. And we see that Preveza. Let's not forget how well Preveza sailed in at the Marina Rubicon event, but they lost. I think between them and Platoon Aviation, they lost the highest number of kites. I think it was 5 and 6 apiece. And the various different theories why that might have been. Robbie, you are close to a lot of the sailmakers. Did you hear anything?
Yeah, they were just wanting to, I guess, coming from the med, you sort of expect to run the traditional, wind crossovers on what sort of kites you use. And, obviously sailing in the med, they could afford to sort of use a lower cloth or a lighter cloth for their kites. Now the kites that they have, which are sort of their big A4s, the ones they use in big breeze, are the heavier cloth kites. But then there's a lot of crossover and trade-off in terms of what cloth you want to use in the light conditions. But then we saw them try to use that light cloth, and it didn't really work out last month, Andy.
It didn't, for sure. But anyway, different conditions for the moment. We're promised big breeze for the end of the week. Great to just watch the Preveza team in action there. Cole Parada has come from strategist to step into the role of tactician this year. Hugely experienced sailor, obviously sailed many years. I think won the 52 Super Series 4 times in his own right with the Azzurra team. He's the rig specialist on board as well, and I think he's enjoying now the backup of Nick Heiner, who is well known to John Cutler. I think Nick is of course Dutch, but I think he's based in New Zealand now.
He is now, yes. Know Nick well, know him personally, and he's married and with a great kid with a Kiwi, with an Olympic Kiwi sailor. So Molly Meach, and they live down in New Zealand, so I can see him quite a bit when I'm down there. I
know he seems to be doing quite a good job now. They've settled in. Now the the afterguard have gelled a little bit more than the Harum Scarum times in Marina Rubicon, but that is to come again once again this week. Later on in the week we're looking at a big Friday, a big Saturday potentially, Katie.
Yeah, I think the end of the week's definitely looking pretty fruity, which is always exciting. I always like watching the fruity racing. There's always heaps going on, and the boats are so loud. I love it.
Just watching how positions change in the middle of the fleet. Alkedo have made a nice or steady recovery up to 4th, but it's really nothing to choose between 3rd and 7th or 8th, really.
Yeah, it's really hard. You see those boats on the right-hand side of your screen now, really difficult for them to sort of break out. We see Patrick sort of leading that bunch. Privet's are doing a good job to keep their lead, but you just see those 3 boats really hard to sort of separate, and you can't just get an inch, because in these light air conditions you really want as clear breeze as you can get, and if you're really close to the other boats there is just that little bit of effect. So really bunched up in the middle of the fleet there.
That's right, and Privet's are just sailing a slightly higher angle for the meantime, just to protect against the boats behind and just keep their VMG up in a slightly lighter spell. But it's still quite a patchy breeze, Katie, isn't it? It's still quite light in spaces, just like we were saying before we started. It's avoiding these holes as best you can while still sailing the shortest distance from the windward mark to the leeward mark.
Yeah, exactly. There definitely is some big holes, and equally with that there's some bigger bits of pressure. I think I was just kind of looking at the numbers on the tracking, and for a little bit Patrick and Privet's are out on the right hand side of the race course. As you're looking at wind, they were kind of sailing up to 12-13 knots at one point on this downwind, and I was kind of like, ooh, maybe they'll kind of hold this breeze all the way down, but they seem to have fallen out of it. So I think it is super holy still, super puffy, and it's just going to be fully about figuring out where the pressure is. I think there is opportunities both sides as well. I think looking at if we kind of try and learn from the first upwind, which is what I'd imagine a lot of the chat will be on board. Alpha Plus coming from that right hand side still came in really strong at the windward, so there is opportunities on this race course. It is just figuring out how to get to them.
Well, I'll tell you, one team that's obviously got the finger on the pulse when it comes to changes does seem to be Platoon Aviation. They're back up to 8th place already, considering they had that penalty at the top mark and went round the top mark in 12th. They're now up to 7th or 8th, and as you can see on that shot on board, they're just soaking down into the fleet very nicely. I think Vasco really, I spoke to him this morning, he really does have a handle on this on this race area. Obviously they sail early and late season here with other classes, but he said that basically the breeze is still the same pattern.
Yeah, and also
I don't think you need to be able to lip read to know what Vasco's saying. He's saying just let's keep going. We're in a good vein of pressure.
Yeah, definitely encouraging the team for sure.
Keep us fast and keep soaking down harm.
Yeah, and also a bit of a mover as well, being sled. They're sort of up into that 8th position, obviously being over at that start line as well. They're just sort of out to this right-hand side looking up the course. So I think potentially they'll be coming into it. They're just away from that bunch that we see on the left, and a bit of a mover for me.
But yeah, Privet's have done really nicely. Just got into the... just keeping the bow up and getting it up to the band of pressure that's coming down to them. They've just soaked down with it, and they've moved about 100 metres clear of Paprec and Alkedo Alpha Plus. So through the leeward gate, it's going to be a big lead for Privetza. Looking really tidy, nice early drop.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a case of business as usual when we saw them in the first race yesterday, Andy. They just sort of got their lead, and now they're sort of...
You can't forget that they lost the kite on when they were, 3rd, I think it was, on that second race. But they've... keeping things tight.
Very clean drop as well. So, you know, if the first beat's anything to go by, then you can expect them just to keep going out to this left-hand side a wee bit, and sort of once Paprec start coming round and you sort of see the other boats and what they want to do tactically, then you can sort of make your decision whether you want to loose cover and really just try to protect this lead.
Indeed, but in the end, they're going to be quite a long way ahead of Paprec, but quite a significant shift there, Katie, by the looks of things.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a bit of pressure come down and a bit of a shift. It's meant that the kind of platoons managed to come back into it really nicely. Don't particularly like Gladiator's position, just being stuck in the middle of the gate. They kind of have no rights either way, so a really tricky position for them to get through. But yeah, I think it definitely feels like it was pretty light here a minute ago, and now there's a little bit of pressure definitely come down and a shift. So now even these, Alkedo Settler opting to go to the left-hand gate when you're looking downwind, so they're turning left, even though that they were closer to the right-hand gate. So that shows me that there's been a big enough shift for them to want to change that strategy.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it on that drone shot. You can see that the boats which have come down from the right have just been soaking down in very light pressure. Boats coming in from the right looking downwind. Our screen left have come in with more speed, sailing a higher angle, or what's become a higher angle in the shift. That was what Preveza, I think, got their heads into first, and were able to make a substantial gain relative to Paprec. Credit to Alkedo, just chipping away in third. Alpha Plus only 6 seconds behind Platoon Aviation, up to fifth. Now can Platoon Aviation keep going forwards on this second beat? It's a really, really engaging race. There's nothing between the boats. The disappointing thing for Sled at the moment, they're just not able to impose themselves the way they have earlier on this season.
Yeah, that's right. And just communication from the race committee. Sorry to cut you off there, Andy. Just communication from the race committee. We heard the horns as they were coming through that gate. So there's an extension of the top mark to 1.6 nautical miles now. So just a bit of a longer racetrack, and that's just reflected in a little bit more pressure.
I think there's a little bit of a change in the wind angle as well, but we just haven't had that information. But in the meantime, then Preveza really comfortable at the top of the table for this race number 3. I think we can, well, actually, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say we can hope to sail a full programme here, but if I say that, then you can be sure we will be sitting on the dock with the breeze howling on Saturday. But anyway, great focus, great concentration on board Platoon Aviation, a team working in perfect harmony for the moment, just going into their attack. Harmuller Speer, the owner driver, Nicky Muller there, one of the forward grinders, working with Gerd Harbe-Muller, and Vasco just getting a good view under the boom, looking forward.
Yeah, it looks like they're
Paprec seem to have a bit of a problem at the moment.
Here we go.
Not sure what's going on there, but
I'm actually out by Paprec at the moment, and I think they're just in a massive hole. I think it just looks like they've tacked, and they've kind of tacked into nothing.
I think it seems like the. Sorry, Katie. It seems like the split breeze, doesn't it? That stronger breeze coming down to the east coast, as it were, just wrapping round the corner, and then it's like we were talking about yesterday. The breeze is fighting with one another. The old left-hand breeze is to the left of Paprec, and it's left them very, very light for the moment. You can see everybody's indoors, or a couple of Paprec crew indoors at the moment. They're still second. They've still got 185 metres in hand. The breeze will come back to them. It's just a case of remaining patient at the moment, Robbie, I think.
Yeah, very light, Andy, but also very high as well. It looks like they're sailing a lot higher than definitely those boats down to leeward. So very light, but the angle has changed a lot as well. Also looking at the tracker, to Preveza also having that sort of really big left-hand shift. So yeah, a very interesting one, and it just really shows these holes and sort of the streaks in the pressure.
Indeed, it's pretty much, I think, like we were saying there, like Andrea Vicentini was saying, that split breeze, the stronger breeze out to the east for the moment. But Preveza seem to be picking up speed. They've still got bodies on the rail.
The difference in angle, you sort of see that boat in the distance there, Gladiator.
Two boats on either side of the fleet. You've got Paprec almost pointing due north, as are Provezza. And then out on that right side, you can see Gladiator almost pointing the same angle, certainly on the other tack. So you talk about conflicting breezes. They can't both win out, but so too Crioula sailing are doing quite well on that left side, if the left side plays out.
Yeah, fortunate for Provezza. They do get the breeze first, so they do sort of get that first information. And, we can see them sort of pointing straight up the course as we see it. And then as it sort of comes down to the rest of the fleet, it's really, really hard to play. So you'd be looking forward at the front two boats to see how the shift is and what sort of pressure's coming down. And then you can adjust accordingly.
You just look at the trail that Trinity have left there. They were on a horrific angle to get to the left, to get to that big lift. There's a lack of pressure on that left side, but even now the mainsail's almost open there, isn't it? Just powering through the waves, but very, very different breezes on either side of the course. Even now, look at the difference in angle between Provezza and Gladiator. Gladiator directly to leeward.
Yeah, all the fleet now on port tack so we saw Gladiator having a really high angle on the right, but that left did win out in the end, and it looks like they're just sort of falling away back to square now.
Indeed, but look at the angle and the position of no way back in Allegra just now. They're in a very different breeze to the leaders' top three boats. Crioula sticking with that left side. Now wonder whether Trinity can take some places. How's it looking there, Katie? You're presumably on that left side and causing all the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of light where I am at the moment, to be honest. It's one of those days. I feel like anyone that's ever raced in kind of super shifty, confusing breezes that isn't quite established, it's quite anxiety-inducing. I'm kind of sat here. I was watching Paprec come out of that tack, and I can relate to the feeling of being sat there watching everyone around you moving.
Away,
you're just like, please come to me. You want the wind to come to you.
I mean, absolutely case in point just now. You've got Crioula sailing away from Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation having everybody in the cockpit. And there they go. I mean, it's almost... we kind of had a little bit of a chuckle yesterday when Harmler Spear came off the water and said, oh, it's a little bit like the Bavarian Lakes. And we went, oh, really? And as if to fulfill his very prophecy yesterday, here we are. It is like the Bavarian Lakes. And he is in his own little wind bubble at the moment, or lack of wind bubble. You can see a couple of bodies down there to leeward, actually, trying to induce a little bit of heel.
It's incredible to try sort of sail these conditions as best you can. You just mentioned earlier, Andy, Trinity sailing a horrible line to get out to the left, but now they're looking really, really famous, and they're up into fourth place on this left-hand side. So it's definitely snakes and ladders for these boats. Really, really tough.
Pressure just coming in now for Platoon Aviation. It's the one thing is it doesn't last forever. You can see Alkedo coming back at Platoon Aviation, and they're back fully powered up. One of the big grinders, or two of the big grinders, there's Gerd coming out from indoor yachting and back on the rail, all the way on the rail now.
Yeah, it's funny to sort of see them all jump up out of that cockpit after being dogs in the house, so a definite change in pressure, but they will just be really, like Katie said, just a little bit stressed after not sort of picking up that pressure that the left-hand boats did. And we see a couple of boats actually coming from the right-hand side, so potentially a bit more of a square direction as we see it now, and these boats really trying to get out to this left-hand side.
Meantime, one boat which has managed to get to that left and certainly have got themselves left of Platoon Aviation is Sled, sailing a very high angle and getting themselves back into the race. Meantime, unfortunately, Katie, the regatta leaders, Vayu in 12th for the moment, way over on that right side.
Yeah, it's looking like a super split breeze on this course. Like the boats out on that right-hand side are just kind of stuck. not quite got into the lift that the boats at the top have got, like the Paprec and Preveza. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. Well, it's probably pretty frustrating if you're on those boats, and if you're on kind of the likes of Preveza, you're just kind of wanting the race to end so that you can consolidate this this win and hope that nothing comes along and and brings you back into the rest of the fleet.
The Prevets have got out of it reasonably well, although Paprec, I mean, they came round the leeward mark, Robbie, with a lead of over 250 metres. It's now 45 metres. But this race is certainly not over yet. Trinity Racing and Sled, the biggest gains in the last few minutes.
Yeah, incredible to see, because Paprec, like you mentioned, were a long way away, and there were just a few boat lengths up to windward out this left-hand side to Preveza, and now they're right back in the game. So even between the top two boats, just the difference in pressure is amazing. I'm just looking at the 2D screen here, and we do see Preveza and Paprec and these boats out the left-hand side just putting the bow down a little bit more, so potentially the shift coming back, and yeah, we're seeing more of an even racetrack now, but all the gains to these boats on the left, and we'll see them as they get further up this top mark and potentially get even more shifty, Andy.
Indeed, but in the meantime, the pendulum has swung in favour of Sled, who are on this left side, still sailing, or now sailing a much higher angle than Platoon Aviation, who have dropped off the edge of this left-hand breeze and losing a place to Gladiator for the meantime. But Katie, this race is far from over, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would not be comfortable if I was in the lead or if I was in 12th. I think there is so much more to come from this race, and I think especially if the breeze keeps fighting, I think picking which way to go on the downwind is going to be equally as hard as this upwind, and yeah, I think heaps to go on this.
Heaps to go there. We're Loic Perron there, the tactician on board Paprec, leading from the front, as it were, just keeping the weight low for the meantime. It's certainly closed right up to Preveza. 200 metres of lead evaporated in a few minutes. Preveza just repositioning themselves to weather, Katie.
Yeah, I think getting on the ley line super early in these conditions is, I don't think, sensible. I think there's so much still to come. I think there's so many little shifts that actually, yeah, you don't want to be stuck on that ley line, because if it shifts, then you'll either be underlay and you have to do 2 tacks, or you'll be overlay and then you'll end up giving away loads of space. It looks like we've had a bit of another shift, to be fair, and it's potentially Paprec laying from where I'm sat right now, which would, to me, put Paprec in the lead right now. Preveza was on... Yeah, I mean, I'm so confused by what even the direction is right now. But yeah, Paprec for me at the moment looking pretty comfortable.
Indeed, just listening for the new course for the downwind. But let's wait and see. But Paprec then do seem to be set to go round this weather mark, final weather mark of race 3 here in Puerto Calero. They are just clear, should be able to cross Preveza. Preveza just nipping the stern of Paprec. And then it's super close between an upwind finish. That was the finish, I believe.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. That's a shortened course. Probably a very smart move from Maria, our principal race officer. Paprec nipping ahead of Preveza at the finish line. I don't think Preveza will be too upset about that. Great recovery from Trinity Racing then, getting through in third. I think the breeze so funky then it'll probably be a reasonably popular decision by Maria. Certainly popular with Paprec and Preveza, probably Trinity Racing as well. Don't think Crioula will be complaining at all. Great credit to the Brazilian team. Nice and consistent through that race. Kept their heads cool. And in the end, I think we're seeing bow number 5, the circuit leaders. Sled will come through in 5th place. They were down in 11th and 12th at one point. And I think as much as anything, Robbie, they'll take a little measure of satisfaction of just having their principal contender, principal rival for the circuit title, Platoon Aviation, actually quite comfortably behind them. But what a race, really wacky races at some points.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. Definitely the biggest movers being Sled and Trinity on this final sort of confused upwind. And you mentioned Sled, they sort of got away with one there. They, obviously it's enough to head out to the correct side of the course on the left, but then also just to have the short and finish and just be in front of your direct rival, as you were saying, Platoon, as they just crossed the finish line here. But big up and down. We had them at the back of the fleet starting this upwind, and then you see them finish third and fifth respectively.
That's right. I mean, they were up and they got themselves up to fifth at the windward mark, and then had to duck all the way around the back of the fleet because they had no place to come in from the Port Tat ley line. That cost them, and they came round the windward mark back in I think absolutely dead last. So I think it's a damage limitation thing for Platoon Aviation, but a big gap then back to 7th and 8th, Alpha Plus and Gladiator.
Yeah, really tough for Alpha Plus. They were definitely in the hunt on that first upwind mark, but just got really unfortunate being caught out on that right-hand side as all this left-hand confusion came in. So tough for all these boats that sort of went out to the right. And yeah, really a big gap in between the two boats, which is just a reflection of the split breeze and which side of the pressure that you're on.
But Katie, credit, kudos to Paprec and Provezza. Through all the madness, they kept cool heads and just sailed with the breeze they had. Really made sure they changed gears with the pressure, reacted to what was going on. And it was between Paprec and Provezza. Paprec just getting them on the line. I mean, you have to give most credit to both these teams sailing with the breeze they had after great first up wins.
Yeah, for sure. I think they did such a nice job of keeping their cool in that. It's really easy, especially as you say, if you're stuck in no pressure for a little bit, it's really easy to lose your head, and it's really easy to kind of start making panic decisions and kind of making rash decisions. But actually the ability to keep cool and just kind of chip away and kind of keep kind of doing the next best thing, I think it was really powerful. And I think Paprec did a really amazing job actually of kind of just claiming the win off of Provezza after they had such a big lead at that leeward, and just to chip away at that, it was really impressive.
And we no way back. We're deep at one point, or very deep at one point. I think probably not too unhappy to come away with a 9th in the end. Obviously, they'd like to have done better, but they ended up on the wrong side of that left shift and went out to the right. So recovered back to 9th, as I think you would reflect that it could have been worse. But disappointing, Katie and Robbie, for Vayu. Still to finish, but really, what would be your interpretation there, Robbie?
No, yeah, it was tough for them. They obviously weren't in that top bunch right off the start, and they tried to work their way back, but just didn't get it sort of right. They were sort of on that right-hand side inside the bunch the entire sort of race, and then they obviously went out to that right-hand side on that last upwind. So tough break for them. They're obviously quick in these conditions. We saw them yesterday posting some great scores, but tough breaks for them mean they're at the back of the fleet for this one.
I mean, yeah, Katie. I mean, it's tough for Vayu because as much as anything, I wonder what's happened there, because No Way Back have dropped. Did they recross the start line or recross the finish or something?
No,
it's just
sorting itself out. But.
Yeah, I think it's just the tracker gets confused because it thinks we're still racing for the meantime. Anyway, what I was saying, that I think the problem with her Vayu, we spoke earlier on about them tending to sail their own race and sail to the strengths of the boat, let the boat do its work. It's kind of almost like by virtue of that strategy, you end up having to stay away and do something slightly different. Sometimes that pays off, and today certainly they were on the wrong side of the course. However,
I think once you get...
Sorry, Katie, go on.
No, I was just saying, I think for Vayu, like in these conditions, we know that they are really quick, but unfortunately in these conditions, speed isn't everything. And if you do pick the wrong side of the course and find yourself like in the bunch, then especially like after you get to the windward mark for the second upwind, your strategy is quite often dictated too by where the other boats around you are, and it means you can't necessarily choose your own strategy, and it kind of almost in these type of conditions it is the rich get richer at the front. And I think for Vayu, even though they are really fast in this, I just don't think they were able to quite kind of find a lane and be able to get over to that favoured side.
So then, that's the race 3 results then. Paprec, Preveza, Trinity, Crioula, Sled, Platoon Aviation gets 6th, Gladiator 7th, Alpha Plus in 8th. Alkedo were well up there in the early part of the race. They're really having a tough regatta, particularly Robbie, because as much as anything they're battling Paprec. But what does Maria do now? That's the big question for both of you.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I'm sure Katie can give a bit more, information about what she's seeing on the course. But for me, a shift like that is a big thing. And then also looks like the breeze has died out a bit. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from Katie from what she's seeing up the course at the moment.
I mean, I want another race. That was exciting for me to watch. But I think I think we've got a bit of a battling couple of battling breezes here. I think it's a little bit unstable. It is a bit lighter, but it's the wind speed is absolutely raceable. It's just whether the breeze stabilizes a bit, which I hope it does. I don't want to point any fingers, Andy, but you did say about a full series, and I had my finger on the button, literally ready to be like, no.
I was just thinking that very same when you were just before you said that. I thought, God, I wish I hadn't said that, but. All that being said, I think it's a case of staying patient. We've got plenty of daylight. There's no big pressure to get racing on the second race underway. It's again one of the. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Katie, but one of the advantages of not being in the Med is the daytime temperature is not so super hot. The guys can sit out here for a little bit of time, just regroup, debrief, get some lunch, rehydrate, and wait and see what happens. And obviously if Maria and the race team, she's got lots of very clever navigators round about her who know this race area, and Maria obviously works out here a lot as well with other classes, so they'll be very, very on the balls in terms of tracking the best position for the race course for race number 4. But I think patience is a virtue for the meantime. But Katie, Robbie, I'm really liking the way that Preveza are sailing.
No, they are. They're sailing very, very well. We saw them come out firing yesterday, and they did the exact same thing. It's important to note that our top 2 boats in this race did come off that pin as well, so they just had their time to sort of break free, and they could get clear of the fleet early. And yeah, you mentioned it, Preveza sailing really, really clean, and just being able to stay in that front pack and sort of dictate their own terms.
Indeed, it's taken a while to get the best out of their boat. Anyway, there we go. Preveza then leading by 4 points after race number 3. Second place for them, so 10 points for Preveza. Second are Vayu on 14 points. Third now are Platoon Aviation also on 14. 15 for Crioula. Trinity Racing now on 19 for Sled, 20 for Alpha Plus, 21 for Paprec in 8th. 22 for Gladiator, 9th, 24, 25 for Allegra and No Way Back. And Alkedo down in 12th for the meantime on 31 points, losing points to their French rivals. They're 10 points, have lost 10 points so far at this regatta to their French rivals. So that's the standings after race 3. I think we deserve a little bit of a break to just regroup, just get an ice pack on our heads and come back for race 4 as soon as we get going.
Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
This love we're talking, you ain't really fronting. You do the walk and talk the talk, but drop it. Pull me back, you left me there, I'm falling. Stop, the hell are you going? I'ma hold me up, I'll get myself together. Who'd have thought without you I'd be better? Brace yourself, I'm ready for another. I said it once before. Without you, I'm sunlight, so bright, so right. Sunlight, so bright, so right. Sunlight, Every moment so good, so good. Got something so sweet, yeah, it's charming. Make me wanna see you more every day. Go down like a tree, night and morning. Maybe you're the one who I want to stay. So tell me if you feel this, baby. My mind is running crazy, 'cause no one has made me feel this way. You do everything perfectly, and I want you to see that I appreciate you. I'm feeling free with our bodies together as I breathe. I'm lighter than a feather when I'm with you all day, all night. Every moment so good, green light. Oh, it's true, I've never met nobody who's like you. This time I got so lucky when I'm with you all day, all night. Every moment so good, green light. You got the green light in your eyes and your smile, yeah, yeah. Know I would spot you from a mile, can't know why, yeah. I think you're my one and only, I know it 'cause I dream about you. So tell me if you feel this, baby. My mind is running crazy, 'cause no one has made me feel this way. You do everything perfectly, and I want you to see that I appreciate you. I'm feeling free with our bodies together as I breathe. I'm lighter than a feather when I'm with you all day, all night. Every moment so good, green light. Oh, it's true, I've never met nobody who's like you. This time I got so lucky when I'm with you all day, all night. Every moment so good, green light. Oh, red, amber in your body, only green light, only green light. No red, amber in your body, only green light, only green light. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. Low, 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 low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Low, 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 low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low. Party all night, go into the dark skies. I'll party all night, I'll party all night, I'll party all night. Give me one more dose and I'll party all Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. Don't all the time, I'm letting go. I wanna find someone to love. I feel alive, I think you know. We're getting down, we're getting low. We're getting down, we're getting low.
Standing right in front of me, you used to be someone to me. You took all of my energy and had some infidelities. The real estate inside my head you took is never coming back, but you said that it wasn't personal. And every time you lied to me, it's like I didn't want to see, cause I thought you were beautiful, and beauty doesn't want to be mischievous and devious and set a fire unto us, but you were never beautiful at all. I wasn't fine to begin with, walked out those lines to begin with, but you forced me to work on myself because you put me through hell. I guess I should thank you for that. I'm okay, but it was a real close call. It went from a walk to a crawl. Had to tear down the Berlin Wall. I was panicking, but hey, I guess that I survived you. And that shit was hard to do. I've had every shade of blues since I met you. I think that I'm over it, but then I see you out again, laughing with the group of friends. There he is, you're holding hands, makes me feel pathetic and a little bit erratic. So I drink till I can't stand. And you know I won't confront you, even though it's all I wanna do. Probably best to just ignore it, both impossible and true. I wasn't fine to begin with, walked all those lines to begin with, but you forced me to work on myself because you put me through hell. Thank you for that. I'm okay, but it was a real close call. It went from a walk to a crawl. Had to tear down the Berlin Wall. I was panicking, but hey, I guess that I survived you. And that shit was hard to do. I've had every shade of blues since I met you. She loves me not. The petals hit the floor, and what you get is what you
contemplating all my time. My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind. Wonder if there's peace that I could find, instead of always being on the grind. I need a new purpose, I'm looking for so much more. Don't leave me here searching, you're just what I'm longing for. When times are getting crazy and everything seems hazy, is there some place for safety I could go? Run away, run away, run away into your escape. Run away, run away, run away, you're never too far to run. Run away, run away, run away into your escape. Run away, run away, run away. Run away, run away, run away. It gets so loud that I can barely hear. But your words speak much louder than all my fears. Sometimes I just wanna disappear, running until I can feel you near. I need a new purpose, I'm looking for so much more. Don't leave me here searching, you're just what I'm longing for. When times are getting crazy and everything seems hazy, is there some place for safety I could go? Run away, run away, run away into your escape. Run away, run away, run away, you're never too far to run. Run away, run away, run away into your escape. Run away, run away, run away. Run away, run away, run away.
in my head, romanticizing forever. Last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Diving at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? My God, don't we look good together? I should be running away, but so what, whatever. Oh, last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Diving at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? You're a bad idea. Oh, but every time I see you, all reason and logic cut their losses. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Diving at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine?
Big smile, a funny face. Storm cloud, or a bit of shade. A dime, fashionably lame. Out of my mind, or barely sane. I'm trying to catch a breath, but breathing it in. Drumming out the noise, but it's trickling in. Keep me guessing, I wonder if you know. World going round, I'm letting it spin. Light is coming down, and it colors your skin. I'ma take a drive to the unknown. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Oh, wait a minute, now carry on. Stay down or rise above. Oh, is it a red flag or recklessly in love? When I give it my all, I just wanna be enough. Trying to run it back when I'm cold in the feet. My world is going mad, so weak. Yeah, I'll take the plunge to see if I float. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Wait. I wonder what it feels like. Wait. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to Puerto Calero in Lanzarote for the Royal Cup. We're approaching race number 4. Breeze has stabilised a little bit, I hope. We had a little bit of a funky race 3, certainly in the second half of the race. The race was shortened at the windward mark with a win for Paprec. Preveza second. Preveza lead the regatta standings by 4 points. Vayu in second after their 9th place in that last race. Breeze still looks to be quite light for the moment. And there you see, just confirming those standings. As I said, Preveza now gone 172 for a 10-point aggregate so far, 14 and 14 for Vayu and Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation really did a great job recovering and getting knocked down and recovering and getting knocked down, coming away with a 6th in that race. They're in 14 points in 3rd place. Crioula 4th, 15-19 for Trinity Racing, 19 for Sled. Alpha Plus in 7th after that 8th place. 21 points just now for Paprec after that race win. Gladiator 22 for 9th place. 10th for Allegra and 24-25 for No Way Back. And Alkedo on 31 points in 12th for the moment. So Preveza seem to have a really solid formula that they've been working through at the moment. It seems to be profiting them at the moment. But news from Paprec is that Loic Perron has suffered a back injury of some description, is off the boat for the meantime, and they also had a small technical problem which we hope they've sorted out. We just saw them just in the build-up period there. We're at 2:20 before the start, and on board is Pierrick Latouzé. Has come in for Loic. Pierrick is the coach, really, kind of a data expert, and he's also a top solitaire Figaro class sailor. So that's 2 on board, along with Paul Morvant, ex-laser sailor. So Paprec setting up towards the left side of the group at the moment, just shadowing Sled, who are just below them.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. Interesting to see Paprec, electing to do the same sort of plan that they did in that first one. They did win the pin on that first race, so they're already setting up as we head a minute 30 into this sort of start. They're just sort of that pin-end boat once again, so early set up for all the fleet, and they're all stacked up against that boat end.
They are indeed. Just watching Preveza, the regatta leaders, just pulling the bow up, just closing distance to Alpha Plus, who are above them all the time. You want to have a space to leeward to drive into, to build speed in the final seconds. Katie, what do you think? We're a minute to go.
I'm thinking, as you were saying there, everyone's pretty early racked up on the line. I think it looks like it's going to be a relatively even spread across the line. The breeze is around 20 30 degrees further left than it was for the first race, so it's a lot more offshore, which I think will mean there's going to be kind of a shiftier breeze, and I think especially as we get closer to the windward mark, it's going to be a bit shiftier, so lots of opportunities, and I think it's going to be all about getting off this start clean. And for me, Paprec, deja vu of the first start. I think if they can nail their timing, they're going to have a really nice clear lane to be able to get off with speed, and yeah, sled just above them, look back a little bit. I think they're going to struggle to get a good start from there, but I think we're going to have to keep watching.
Yeah, keep your eye.
Keep watching, just watching Preveza just in the middle, just building speed. They've got a little bit of a gap to leeward to sled. Paprec building speed now, and it's actually a very, very even start. Look at that. Look at all the bows of this fleet. Actually, the yellow and black bow of bow number 1 is no way back. Peter Harima and team seem to have got themselves a nice, clean jump in the fleet early on. But it's very, very even, Robbie.
Yeah, really nice start from all these boats. You see them nicely lined up there. They look like they're in a bit of a right-hand phase right off the jump of the start. Watched out for Gladiator and Crioula at that boat end. They just got shut out just at the end of that start there, so that's why they're on the back foot. We see Crioula tacking over, heading out to get some clear air, but really nice to see all these boats nicely lined up, heading out for the race number 2.
Yeah, breeze is... as Robbie said, a little bit to the right. That's working just now for No Way Back, though Platoon Aviation just to weather seem to be slightly higher and really have quite a nice lane. They certainly have good speed. This is the key moments really, Katie, isn't it? You have to be sailing at max speed within a few seconds off the gun. And for me just now, No Way Back just not quite matching Platoon Aviation in particular. Vayu nicely positioned to windward, but a little bit further back. And the regatta leaders, Preveza, I mean, they're in a reasonable position, but they have a reasonably quick Alpha Plus just to weather. But I'm really liking Paprec, Katie.
Yeah, I think Paprec's done a really nice job of like punching out at the bottom, and the same with Platoon on the top of the pack. I think both of them, in this, it's such a critical point of the race, especially if everyone is on the line at go. Like, that was pretty picture perfect start from the fleet there. And I think the drag race out to this side, you really can't lose an inch. And I think Paprec, No Way Back and Platoon have done a really good job of that. I think a lot of that will go back to their acceleration off the line, and I think the boats that had the better acceleration and maybe gave themselves a little bit more space to be able to trigger into, you don't notice that gain until you're a little bit further up the beat. So I think potentially we're seeing Sled and Allegre having a bit of a harder time there, holding their lanes, potentially a little bit too close to the line and just couldn't quite accelerate off well enough. But yeah, for me, Paprec, as long as the breeze doesn't kind of shift to their disadvantage, I think they're looking really strong. And I think this left-hand side of this racecourse could be quite strong, being this close into the shore, as long as there is pressure close to that shore, because we do know that sometimes it does get a bit lighter closer to the shore where we are here, and it's just whether they can stay in the pressure.
Robbie, whose position do you like best at the moment of the leaders or the leading group?
Yeah, well, obviously Platoon is sort of on the right side of the group, so they're sort of in that dominant position, especially coming off the line on starboard. But Paprec, like you mentioned, do have a little punch out, and they've got the room and space to sort of really sail their own race. Katie touched on it in that first race. In these sort of light wind conditions, you really want to have that room to leeward to be able to sail your own race and as fast in your mode as possible. So it's a really nice job from Paprec just to keep that space to leeward, and we just see the fleet just sort of spreading out a wee bit as we head further up. But definitely Platoon is in a really dominant position at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a good position, and just watching Preveza not really able to impose themselves from where they are. They're looking quite slow just now, I think, being affected by Alpha Plus. Meantime, Katie, talk to me about Sled's position from where they are just now. How do you like Sled's position?
I think for me, Sled's in quite a tricky position. I think they're going to struggle. They need to be figuring out basically how they're going to get back across the fleet. They are not punched out far enough ahead that they can kind of put an early tack in and kind of, be clear. having said that, I think they're just going for attack now. I think they've kind of been a bit lucky with the fleet tacking and picked their moment. But I think they've got a lot of boats to contend with, and if they get a lane back out on port, I think they should be pretty happy. But it all completely depends on whether they can get a lane going back out on port.
Indeed, Platoon Aviation looking quite nice from their position just now. But yeah, Sled actually seemed to have done quite nicely tacking when they did. And this is looking a little bit difficult just now, Robbie, for Preveza.
Yeah, you
just haven't had the speed off the line and now starting to trail the fleet a little bit. They're in 10th for the meantime, the regatta leaders.
Yeah, you see the sort of pressure that they were put under just off that start line, couldn't hold their nice lane, so they're just a little bit further back. But we also see Vayu, we didn't speak much about them, but they were to the right of the bunch as well, and it looks like they're punching out well. We've obviously got Crioula and Gladiator out to that right-hand side as well, but most of the boats tacking over onto port and choosing their time to sort of centre up in this racetrack. And it'll be interesting to see how Patrick are coming out of this, being the furthest left boat.
At the moment, they seem to be sailing quite a nice high angle. They have pressure for the moment, but actually no way back. It seemed to be quite nicely powered up where they are. But just strands of pressure once again, Katie. Just little lines of stronger breeze. Now Patrick nicely powered up. We seem to be building into a stronger phase of breeze.
Yeah, I think there is definitely, it's not fully settled and consistent. There is still bands of pressure, and we would expect to see that. I mean, if you just look onto the shore, you can see the volcanoes. You can see that it's super up and down, and that you would expect to have a lot of shifts and a lot of gusts with that. I think the biggest thing in these conditions is transitions through those phases. So whether you've got a light patch or a breezy patch, being able to transition quickly into the correct mode for the breeze you're going into, I think that's where you get the meters, and that's where you're going to make the gains in terms of the breeze up and down. And I think that's super critical, and the lulls are quite low. So I think being able to transition and keep the speed through the lulls and not have to lose as much and not have to go really low to keep the speed is going to be really critical.
If you can just see the different heel angles between these boats, all in the same picture. Some slightly more powered up than the others, but Vayu seem to be doing a reasonable job where they are. But the breeze really is up and down, Robbie, isn't it?
Yeah, Katie touched on the transitions, and it's also quite a complicated decision to make on the sail choice as well. Obviously, the jibs that they choose, generally in this sort of condition, we've got about 8 to 10 knots for me, so sort of that crossover point, they would be on the J 1.5, but then in that case, if the breeze does die down, then you need that dynamic trimming just to really fatten it up and try get that power. But equally, it's a decision that they make before the start, isn't it? And they can't change it now.
That's it. That's indeed the case. It's about having a sail profile that's a little bit more adaptable or specific to a narrower wind range, and that's the choices you make in terms of your crossovers, and that's the real fine detail. But Sled doing reasonably well just now, coming across on port. They'll cross Trinity and Alpha Plus.
Yeah, it's interesting to see some of these teams wanting to come back. Obviously, Patrick being that furthest left boat, and we see the boats on starboard really trying to fight towards that left-hand side as we see Sled go through their tack, so they're almost in that same mindset, but the top guys seem to be wanting to continue and get further into the center of this racetrack. So difference of opinion, I think, and potentially a bit, the transition of the pressure is coming from one side rather than the other.
Indeed, just watching... actually no way back, have stayed in the pressure and being a little bit quicker than Platoon Aviation. Vayu not quite so good, and just we've got Platoon Aviation have just tacked under their bow, so this should be in the meantime to the advantage of No Way Back, who really could do as a good top 2, top 3 result, Robbie, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's right. They've definitely got the experience on board, and they're a great team, but they just maybe have potentially fallen short a little bit of potential expectations that they had. And yeah, no, they'll definitely be trying to just chip away at the fleet and really try post some good scores, because although they're a new team, they've they've done really well to get sort of up in the top of the fleet. They really just need to capitalise on that.
You're indeed watching as Vayu tack away. The breeze really is up and down, Katie, isn't it? We're just, you were talking about the transitions. They're coming thick and fast.
Yeah, for sure. And as Robbie was touching on with the setup, it's whether the teams will have probably been having discussions around whether you set up for the gusts or the lulls, and what's kind of the more important the more important one to set up for. I know that in my sailing, that's kind of you go into the day and you do your tuning and things like that, and then you decide what kind of day it is, and you're like, yeah, am I setting up to be able to make the most out of the gusts, or to handle the gusts and not lose out in the gusts, or am I setting up because the lulls are so big that I need to actually make sure I can carry speed through them? And that's the decision that they will have made pre-start, and as Robbie says, they've made that decision and now they've got to make it work. But interestingly as well, the fleet is very much opting to be in the middle of this race course. I think we're seeing a lot more tacking going on this upwind compared to the other ones, and I think that's probably because we are so close into the shore here. We've probably got quite a lot of shifts as well as the big ups and downs in pressure, so it's proper shifty racing here, proper lake racing. So I think, yeah, the fleet's going to be staying in the middle of this course, probably not getting out to the corners too early, and just trying to really make the most of every change that happens.
Absolutely optimising every manoeuvre, isn't it? It's every tack. You're looking to make gains rather than losses. But in the meantime, Patrick's back with this left side working, or was working for them. Coming back now, but it's super close between Patrick Platoon and No Way Back.
Yeah, it is. It's they've almost, these boats out on this left-hand side, it just seems like they've got a little bit of a right-hander. I mean, they're on the left-hand side of the racetrack, but it just seems that they're quite wound up and in a nice righty. So, a bit interesting. Obviously, Katie mentioned how it's going to get more shifty as we get to the top mark, but these front teams, they're sort of playing the edge of this left-hand side, but they have to because they're in that right-hand shift as we currently see it, Andy.
Indeed, on board with Patrick then. Super close between them and Platoon Aviation. No Way Back in the mix, in a little bit of a gap back to sled.
You also have Vayu there. We see the 2D shot. They're furthest out to that right-hand side, so keep your eye out on them. They're obviously a fast boat, so just keep watching them as we get further up. Obviously, it's going to shift and change, but these boats are really far out to the left-hand side, the leaders, and it sort of opens the door for the middle of the pack just to really open up and try get in front at the moment.
On board with the Vayu for the meantime, Manu Weiler there with the buff. He works solo as it is, as a tactician, doesn't work with the strategist per se.
Well, that's a bit of a different setup, isn't it, to how some of these teams run it?
Yeah, indeed, it's very much it's interesting because obviously they've sailed for many years together, and that's the way that Manu enjoys working, and he's very confident in his helmsman. It's not some situations the teams like to have a strategist who either steps in when the tactician becomes a kind of helm coach, as it were, or some tacticians just like the extra observation and the extra backup when it comes to making decisions. But Manu very happy to work like that, and it's working for them quite well. In second just now.
Yeah, we see them sort of come back into the fleet, these front boats, as we see the 2D there. It's just almost a decision time or sort of a convergence on who gets the shift when these boats do cross over, and it's a huge advantage once you do cross over. Then you can sort of play the fleet back from there, but it looks like those teams that did ride out that righty are now on the left and are gaining from it.
Indeed, principle of them being Platoon Aviation, really impressed by the way they're sailing. They seem to be in phase with the shifts and the breeze, and as Katie said, it's really the transitions. They seem to have been changing gears a little bit more smoothly than No Way Back. And Vayu further out to the right.
You also see Crioula there just sort of ahead of that bunch in the middle. So they've done a nice job just tacking underneath. All three of those boats sort of simultaneously tacked, and Crioula just getting the jump because they're a little bit further bow forward. We mentioned it before how you want to be, have clear room to leeward of you, especially in the light wind. So they've done a good job of that.
In the meantime, Platoon Aviation with their position leading and slightly to the right of their main opposition, if you want to say, no way back in Paprec. Be interesting to see whether Vayu can get to the starboard tack ley line or onto starboard. But at the moment, Platoon have got the lead. They're closer to the windward mark. Once again, approaching via the protector mark. It just shows you they constantly play that geometry, if you like.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a different decision. Obviously that spreader mark, meaning that you can't go all the way out to that port ley line, just in terms of a safety factor of boats just coming in really hot and fast into that top, right?
You could almost call it the Vasco mark because he comes in so often from that port side.
Well, case in point where we are now.
No. I mean, he's always, it's over the years that I've watched it so many times that before this was invented or adopted, then there was many situations at the windward mark that were caused by boats coming in very, very late. But Vayu have got away with it for the moment. They're a little bit down speed. Platoon Aviation should be able to stretch, Katie.
Yeah, I think Platoon Aviation have got a really nice lead here. I think Vayu, as you say, potentially a little bit under lay, going quite slowly, and that's also going to hold up the fleet behind them. So Platoon kind of halfway down this spreader leg already, and Vayu just rounding just behind them, and then you've got No Way Back and Paprec, within a boat length. So Platoon have just got to try and extend from where they are. They're just about to hoist their kite, and then the rest of the fleet, it's super tight, and it's going to be all about how well the boats can hoist and kind of get on their angle the fastest, and then see what they can do on the downwind.
Actually, Privets have made a reasonable recovery. They're kind of mid-fleet. Trinity Racing in the meantime, Robbie.
Yeah, really tough.
Nasty spot there, aren't they?
Really, really tough. Obviously getting the dirty air from those boats who have already rounded, and then now they're going to have to come in on port. Fortunately, I think they're just going to get across the bow of Alpha Plus and still be able to get their tack in. But same thing with Alpha Plus as we see them now. They're going to be really tight on that ley line, Andy.
Indeed. So nervous moments for the Trinity Racing team. Sled now well clear of the top mark. Same thing applies now.
Well, that's a really tough spot to be in.
That's a really tough spot to put yourself in, but so Alpha Plus may just be able to get away with it. I wonder whether there's a flag from Ian Moore responding.
Yeah, it looks like they just got away with that one, didn't it?
Yeah, so far so good, but I'm sure there would have been a flag from Alkedo. But Ian Moore voicing his opinion there. Anyway, Gladiator just coming round the mark now, but Platoon Aviation are really nicely launched coming down this first run. Race 4 here in Puerto Calero. Royal Cup. Platoon Aviation have won the Royal Cup 3 times. And they are lying third overall going into this race, only 4 points behind Vayu. Vayu are just behind them in this race, so Vayu would still be holding the regatta lead. No way back. Certainly in a much stronger position than we've seen from them in the past. Many members of the former American Magic or Quantum Racing team, the most successful 52 Super Series team ever. Team bought, of course, by Peter Hirama, the Dutch owner.
Surprised to me, Andy, just to see all these boats, just a procession out to this right-hand side looking downwind. I mean, these teams must think that there's not too much inside, and we mentioned how the race course is quite set up just offshore, so a light gradient just off the shore there. So I don't know if they're trying to get out into more pressure or whether it's just more of a sea state and maybe the waves that they can ride, but it's very processional out to this right-hand side.
It is indeed, but suggesting a little bit of a left phase breeze for sure. But Platoon Aviation looking pretty solid there, Katie. Dare I tempt fate as usual?
Danger.
Danger.
Yeah, I think Platoon. Yeah, I think Platoon. Actually, yeah, they've done a really nice job. I think the fleet behind are definitely going to be slowing each other up. They're going to be having little battles. I mean, No Way Back and Vayu. All of them, to be honest, are so close that they're going to be having to keep an eye on the boats around them, and they're going to have to be kind of defending if there's a boat getting too close, and that just means that Platoon is able to extend more and more. Having said that, there is a lot of opportunities on this race course because there is big holes and there is still shifts. So I wouldn't kind of write this lead off as a comfortable one. It's just whether they can stay out there, keep the speed going, avoid the holes, and looking at the rest of the fleet, just seeing. They need to time their jibe perfectly, basically, especially if it is such a procession out to this right-hand side. They want to be making sure that when they jibe into clear wind and they have a good jibe and they're not slow, because I think if you have a bad lane going back towards the centre of the course, then that's probably going to cost you not just one place, but maybe even 3 or 4 places, because the fleet is so tight out here.
You're just watching the dark water, the stronger breeze pulsing down from Puerto del Carmen, that is in the background, and is kind of coming from that right side as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, really great drone shot of all the boats coming down, and you touched on the breeze there.
We go, Alpha.
Gladiator
Just electing to jibe for that. Now this is a little bit of deja vu in some respects, but it's quite a long way to get across to that breeze, and indeed to come back on it.
We obviously have the benefit of a nice vantage point of the drone shot, so we can sort of see, or expect how that's going to turn out, and potentially Gladiator doing a really nice job of just picking their time to go, as Katie mentioned. But you see all the boats so tight, and we see Trinity trying to get through all that bad air to get out to that side.
From Gladiator's point of view, it's a little bit of a gamble. You can see the breeze, but the breeze needs to follow down that side of the racecourse. It's entirely possible that it just stays relatively static there or just stops, but certainly the fleet are more and more boats looking to get onto the front edge of that breeze. But Gladiator, for me, making a little bit of a gain just now. Platoon Aviation really sailing the boat like a dinghy, Robbie, don't they? Very dynamic, just keeping or swinging the boat flat when they get pressure, getting a little squirt, a little bit of acceleration.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy, and I saw it before. You see the runner trimmer back there, even he was the one to sort of squash down and use his body weight. Potentially oftentimes the fellas at the back, might not move with the rest of the boys or the pack in the front, so really cool to see even the person at the very back of the boat doing their best just to use all the weight that they can, like a dinghy, Andy.
Indeed. Let's watch Gladiator on that left side. Trinity actually potentially making a little bit of a gain. I wonder whether we can have a look at the projected standings. We're in race 4 here at the Royal Cup in Puerto Calero on the first downwind, and this would actually put Preveza and Platoon Aviation tied on 15, Vayu on 16, and a 5-point gap back to Crioula. But let's watch, see whether Preveza can continue to make their gains. They're certainly on that left side, Katie, just waiting for that breeze to come down to them. Not quite sure it's moving as much as we maybe thought.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, looking at the speeds, I don't know if the Gladiators they don't look like they're in a higher mode, but they have been you've been seeing 10, 11 knots quite a lot of the time on the tracking. Like their speed is showing about a knot, maybe 2 knots at points faster than the rest of the fleet, and their angle to me looks pretty nice coming back as well. It's just whether they can, that shift and that pressure stays with them. I think from where their position was, it's not a terrible idea to jibe out. You don't want to be held up by the boats around you, and there is opportunities. I think Platoon has done a really nice job of they went out as far as they were comfortable to that, held for as long as they were comfortable, jibed back, leading the fleet back across, and they're in a really powerful position there to be defensive and go into some defensive sailing, and their speeds are kind of up. I mean, we're now seeing a lot more of the fleet around the 10-11 knot mark, so that Gladiator, the pressure that Gladiator were in, they got it a little bit earlier than the rest of the fleet, but it seems to be coming down. So yeah, it's just whether the gain is enough of a gain to have that pressure early on, or whether they'll fall out of the pressure earliest too.
Certainly it's all to the good for Platoon Aviation in the meantime, Robbie. Comfortable lead over 350 metres, pointing almost directly at the leeward gate.
Yeah, really good job. They sort of rounded that top mark sort of 200 metres in front, so now that we're seeing 300 metres means that they've just really put the a nice mode in, a really good job just to continue to build on their lead. Very comfortable, especially in these conditions. No way back, their main rival almost in the pack there with Vayu, so potentially a few little mini battles there, which all the benefit for Platoon, and they're sailing really, really well. I really like their mode downwind, and you mentioned potentially one and in for these gates as well.
Indeed, no way back, going well as it was ever thus. Now then, with our Privets, I can pull back anything. Just a little bit of chop bouncing.
Yeah, just looking at that swell, it just gets a bit bigger as they get closer down the track, doesn't it, Andy?
It does indeed.
The current sweeping right to left, you see that just in the swell that's moving across our screens as we see it. Talking to the downwind trimmer from Preveza, he mentioned that current is a huge obstacle just for these boats you can just see, look at those kites just sort of bouncing.
But you can see that high land at the back of Puerto del Carmen and Puerto Calero, which the breeze accelerates down, but it also carries a little bit of the imprint of the topography and the buildings. But certainly Vasco Voscoto and the Platoon Aviation have got everything right in this race so far.
Yeah, just having a look at the angles here, and you just see Platoon sailing quite a higher angle, and then you see No Way Back just really putting the bow down and able to, because potentially in a bit of a shift, and we talked about those sort of veins in pressure. Potentially we're seeing that now?
I think we are, but it's just that the breeze is not only streaky, but it's not filling all the way down the course, filling in. But I think in the meantime, not too much to worry about for Platoon Aviation. But it's kind of one of these races, perhaps, you want to keep your enemy close to you rather than streaking away. Anyway, Vasco giving a constant commentary to our dialogue with Jordi Calafat there on his left.
Vayu doing some really good numbers in boat speed as well. They're just on that left-hand side of the racetrack as we look upwind, so they're doing some good speed and good mode downwind. Obviously a fast boat, so watch out for them as we see Platoon go for their jibe. It'll be, I would expect, a right-hand turn for them and head out to that left-hand side, which paid for them in their first upwind leg.
What do you think, Katie? The breeze is on.
I think the...
Sorry, Katie, go ahead.
No, the breeze is like super up and down and super shifty. I think I can see the rib at the leeward marks. They're changing the course. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, Maria's just talking now. Hold. So new bearing is 0.15 and new distance is 1.5. So I think they've made it a little bit shorter and potentially a little bit left. Platoon opting to go around the turn left mark. I think looking at wind, you can really still see a lot of this bandy pressure. I think Platoon potentially opting to sail away from the traffic, which I think is sensible. There's a lot of traffic. If they were to go around the right-hand turn mark, they would have to sail through a lot of boats, and actually I think in this kind of pressure, and they've got the space, they can go around that left-hand mark and then make the decisions based on the rest of the fleet, and they don't need to be sailing slowly. No Way Back and Paprec looking like they're opting to follow them out there. So again, if on Paparak, that's kind of what you want. If you've got, if you're leading the fleet, you ideally want your closest competitors to follow you so that you can then be on the defensive for them. Vayu lost out a couple of places on this downwind. I think they overlaid that leeward mark a little bit, which isn't great, and I think they're probably going to have to do a bit of a jibe drop. I think they'll struggle to get a high angle out of this mark, but yeah, we'll see if they've gone for the split, and we'll see if they can gain those places back with their boat speed, which we know in these conditions is super high.
And you're just watching Platoon Aviation really going very, very nicely after that leeward mark. Key thing for them, Robbie, not going through the lee of the approaching kites.
Yeah,
that's that really nicely for the moment. I think they might just have one to go through. Anyway, Provetza now coming through in 5th. I think they've gained a little bit. They're only 9 seconds behind Vayu, but they're ending up on the same side of the upwind.
No, they've done well to sort of come back into the fleet. Provetza have, and we see the boats, you know, either side choosing different gates, still wanting to be on the starboard tack. So just indicating a bit of a right-hand shift for the course, and then also Maria and the race committee doing a nice job of shifting that top mark a little bit further right. And now we're just in a bit of a right phase as well. So great job. You touched on Platoon rounding that left turn and then tacking straight away to get on the favoured board.
That's right. Just watching now as Trinity Racing hold on a little bit further to the right. Seem a little bit of a knock perhaps, but I think the pressure is much more on the right. We kind of saw that in the last shot just before Platoon Aviation got to the mark. There we go, lead on the bows of Vayu. Just they have Provetza just behind them.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to live in if you're Provetza, isn't it? You know, you're on the favoured board, but you are behind and probably being affected.
Anyway, a little bit of credit to the Paprec holding position reasonably nicely, considering they have lost their talismanic tactician Loic Perron for the moment, but plenty of talent on board. Super cohesive team. They'll be supporting each other, and of course Johan Richomme, no slouch round an inshore course himself. Did lots of solo Figaro racing.
Yeah, good shot, and you know, we see sort of how Paprec, you mentioned they're sort of lined up now. They're just clear in front. You know, they've got clear pressure, but they are just underneath, no way back, doing a good job out of that gate just to extend a little bit further, so they're just a touch to that right hand side. And you know, we obviously saw the leaders Platoon tack early, but everyone's sort of processional on starboard tack heading out to this left hand side.
So breeze looks a little bit more like it's filled across the course, Katie, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's going in phases. It's kind of it'll come in and it'll be kind of pretty nicely spread across the course, and then it'll start to get a bit patchy again, and it's kind of just, I think, yeah, a bit of a confused day, a low confidence day, as they would say in their weather briefings. You're not entirely sure what's going to happen, so you kind of got to sail in what you see.
So how would a kiter describe today then, Katie?
How would a kiter describe today? What a good question. I think if I was kiting, I think the kite choice would be quite hard. Well, actually, depending on your how windy it was, if it's massive difference between the lulls and the gusts, it's really hard to choose what kite size you're on, because it's same as these boats here. Like, you need to know whether to set up for the gusts or the lulls. The transitioning is really hard. So yeah, you'd just be. Our races are a lot shorter, so we don't have as many shifts up a beat as these guys would. It's kind of quite a different style of racing, but it is super transferable, and it's really interesting to watch this racing, because you can see all of the shifts and everything impacting a lot more than it probably would on the kites.
Indeed, just watching. I mean, this could be a pivotal race at the moment, with Platoon Aviation in first and Sled in 11th. I think Sled went on the water with 11-point lead. certainly it's going to be even Stevens potentially if things remain the same coming through the finish line. You know, I'm kind of mentally playing down the duel for the season title, but it's getting hotter all the time, Robbie, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Platoon, doing a nice job of just sort of chipping away at that lead. We talked about it earlier. There's just 17 points behind Sled on that season tally before we started this regatta, so they're doing a nice job of just chipping away.
And Platoon pulled 6 points back today, and at the moment they're pulling back another 10 points or potentially 11 points. It's really fascinating, as I say. The mental game. Certainly, we had a quiet word with Vasco, and he's saying he reckons the Sled are under pressure. Of course, Vasco and Francesco Bruni, Gecko, long time friends, and sailed many times together and against each other. So a very, very friendly rivalry, lots of mutual respect.
Yeah, you see him there sort of wave his hand.
What Vasco's getting animated about because there's nobody in front of him and there's no umpires around.
He might be playing a little situation in his head.
I don't know. I think he's just getting frustrated at the breeze, Katie, just saying why can it not stay in the one phase. But just tacking on the shifts, Katie, really coming into nice pressure, fully loaded and big full heel. So it tells you something about the breeze coming down off the shore.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's capping out back. There's definitely a bit more breeze on this left-hand side right now. You can't expect me to not say it when you set me up so perfectly, Andy. But yeah, definitely some more breeze out on this left-hand side. I think it is one of those days where it's kind of like, you feel like you're always having to change things. You're always having to move, and if you're in the wrong, if you're not in sync with it, it's so frustrating. But I think, these guys out, Platoon, Vayu, No Way Back, they've kind of committed out to this left-hand side. The pressure is quite nice out here, so hopefully they're probably just sat there watching what's going to happen, watching the pressure coming down, and kind of just hoping that it holds all the way up to the starboard lay.
So really we've got two matches going on, don't we, Robbie? We've got Platoon versus No Way Back, Vayu versus Paprec Pravetsa doing all they can to get into the top four. It's really great racing. Paprec nicely powered up. Yeah, interesting to just see the different kind of crew trim, as it were. Where you can see Paprec have got more weight towards the shroud, a little bit less weight aft, whereas the Vayu is a little bit more spread out. They've got 5 guys at the back of the boat, 3 guys in the shroud.
Yeah, I guess the conventional thinking is to keep the weight together
in the middle of the boat.
Yeah. So
reduce the pitching. Yeah,
interesting to see Vayu there having a bit more weight aft and a bit more on that aft corner. But yeah, definitely tight, really tight for this top group. You mentioned Paprec and No Way Back. They're not far away from each other. Pravetsa trying to punch in, but we've sort of seen like a bit of a separation, haven't we, in this sort of fleet? We have the top 5 and then sort of the bottom 6 as we have it. They're just sort of a bit of separation between them.
Indeed, we'll just watch let's keep our eyes on Sled, who are made a couple of gains. They're battling Gladiator furthest out to that right side. Allegra in their mix, if you like. Crioula similarly. I think Trinity and Alpha Plus are a little bit of a lost cause as far as they're concerned for the moment, as far as Sled are concerned.
Just while we're on board here with Gladiator, they've really enjoyed the right hand side today. They've just sort of been the furthest, if not the second furthest boat out to the right hand side, so always coming back on starboard.
It's a very, very common theme with the Gladiator. Very often like to start at the committee boat and work to windward of the fleet, and it's often paid off for them. Just reiterating what Katie was highlighting yesterday, how they've changed the setup at the back of the boat now with Victor Diaz de Leon working as a tactician and Guillermo Parada now moving back onto the runners as a strategist, and Tony steering. It's a work in progress, but I think it's much more each of these three playing to their strengths and giving Gage more of a power to have an overall control of the boat, if you know what I mean, able to determine or inform the team what's happening next, much more than directly as tactician, where he's keeping an eye on Tony or as well as at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of, some teams sort of demand a bit of a director of the team, not a crew boss necessarily, but just sort of directing how it all plays out.
But and Gage's got so much experience and able to look and anticipate the next couple of moves ahead, not just in terms of strategy, but in terms of what the crew need to be setting up for, big picture and in the short term. And Victor's such a talented tactician in his own right. Less so in terms of experience, less so managing the team and running the team and running the boat. So it's a work in progress, and hopefully things will get better and better for them. Meantime, Platoon Aviation holding on to their lead.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with No Way Back. Obviously, they sort of made that initial jump on the first beat, and then they've just sort of kept it nice and cool and calm and really clean, just staying in touch with Platoon. They've got a nice sort of buffer between them and Vayu, and it looks like they're sailing the boat really just sort of smart and consistently. There's nothing, dramatic going on, so they're just staying in touch with the fleet, and I've been really impressed with how they're going, Andy.
Indeed. We're just got a question for both Robbie and Katie from YouTube. It'd be interesting to hear from you how other boats than the leading ones can act in order to make gains in this race.
Great question. I'll let Katie answer first.
I think if I could answer that question, then I'd probably have an Olympic medal. For me, I think it's all about just doing the next right thing. I know that whenever I'm racing and we have on days like today, I don't think necessarily splitting from the fleet, doing a Hail Mary. I mean, yes, you can do that, and it potentially might mean that you make big gains, but for me it's just all about doing the next right thing on the race course in what you've got and like what's coming towards you, and then just chipping away and just taking every single place is super important. So I think for me that's how I would answer that question.
No, I definitely agree with you, Katie, on that. I think you don't get much opportunity in this fleet being such a high level, and especially being a lot of boats, so you don't get much real estate to really sail your own race if you do get caught in that backpack. So if you get an opportunity or a little moment, then you do have to just take it. You mentioned chipping away is definitely the right thing, but tough question, a great question, and I'm sure a few of these boats potentially asking themselves that one, Andy.
Indeed. I mean, I think the key thing is at the moment, certainly in this race course, there's no big gains to be made like there were yesterday. It's much more small gains, chipping away and just taking the opportunities as they come, and to a certain extent being patient and waiting for other teams to make mistakes. As Katie said, always trying to sail, anticipate the next transition and be able to change gear smoothly and powerfully. Make sure you're never underpowered.
Yeah, that's right. There's lots of emphasis on performance and trying to get the most out of these boats, but you're right in saying that you are very dictated to by the conditions, by the sea state, by the wind strength. So, sailing is a sport that's, dictated to by nature, and you're very confined if those things, aren't so right. You can obviously get the performance as well as you can, but then you are sort of playing with what you see in front of you as well.
But anyway, a 30-second lead for Platoon Aviation. Won the last two races in Marina Rubicon Regatta last month, and heading for, you'd have to say this is their race win to lose at the moment. They have a clear lead. The breeze is not looking like it'll become as funky as it did in the first race. Javier de la Plaza there on the downwind trim. No Way Back just behind Vayu in third. And there we go into our jibe on Platoon Aviation. We're going to have a very quick look in a few seconds' time at the projected standings. If positions stayed the same with Platoon Aviation first, No Way Back second, Vayu third. But I think this would be a clear lead for Platoon Aviation if things stayed the same. But hopefully we can look at those projected standings.
Yeah, a bit of a mini battle heading on at the back there as well, Andy, just between Trinity and Preveza. So very, very tight. Sort of, we mentioned the separation in the fleet, very tight in sort of that middle pack, and then just behind them, Crioula and Alpha Plus really battling it out as well. So still tight for all these points.
It is still quite tight for all these points, but really, I mean, Sled and Alkedo 11th and 12th just now. Two of the teams who are battling, or certainly topping the podium, and third in the podium coming here, really having a horrific regatta so far. But nice to say No Way Back. And I think, yeah, there you go. It would be 15 points for Preveza actually still. That would be quite nice for them. Platoon Aviation on 15, Vayu on 17. So a day for the P's except for Paprec. But there we go. Crioula still in fourth. Paprec in fifth. Moving up the table, but I don't think you'd be too unhappy if you're in Preveza or Platoon Aviation today. And Vayu not too far out of it, although I mean they've had a solid day really, all in all, Robbie, haven't they? Can't really have too many complaints today.
Yeah, absolutely. They obviously had a great scoreline after yesterday, and we see so much disparity between race results in this fleet just with these conditions, so just keeping them as low as possible like Vayu has, and you touched on it, Platoon and Preveza are doing a really good job just to keep their scores consistent.
What do we think about what Trinity are doing out in that right side, Robbie?
Yeah, well, they elected to sort of jibe first. They're jibing back onto starboard, so they've done 2 jibes. I think it was just to sort of clear their air. They obviously like the right hand or the left hand side as we look at it on screen, and they just had to put 2 in just to sort of clear their air, and now they're just more central in the course, so potentially the other boats picking up a bit more pressure as we see them further in the background, but Trinity just sort of being forced into that manoeuvre.
There we go, on board then with Platoon Aviation. Just Vasco looking back. Let's have a quick look at the lineup there. Harmuller Spear is the helmsman. Vasco Vascotto, tactician who's won here in Lanzarote so many times. Jordi Calafat, strategist. Juan Villa, navigator. Victor Barino back on the runners. Dr. Ritter Cheese is the main trimmer. Michel Chichetti, Chicho, is the new trimmer this year, who replaced Roscoe Haukro. Javier de la Plaza, downwind trimmer. Gerd Habermüller, the big powerful Austrian grinder. Washin McClelland, the new grinder this year from Ireland, partnered by Grattan Roberts, also from Ireland. Big powerful pair as the new grinders. Mickey Muller in the pit, and Matteo Ramian, the Italian bowman. They are the race leaders at the moment and will potentially finish the day with a share of the regatta lead. Winners of the Royal Cup 3 times, and No Way Back. It's a while since we've seen them in the top seeds. They were so just looking back at No Way Back's recent record. This would be their best result since the second race of the World Championships, and there were 6 in this penultimate race at Marina Rubicon.
Yeah, well, that boat specifically, the actual boat is no stranger to being at the top of the fleet, obviously being a previous race or regatta winning boat, but yeah, really nice to see them up into that front pack, and they'll be more happy. I'm sure Terry won't be fully over the moon and fully satisfied.
Well, but I was talking to Terry last night, and he was saying that he actually said that things are what they are. Peter is new to the fleet, and Peter's enjoying his racing. That's the most important thing. And he was saying there's nothing more they can do in terms of helping him develop. as best he can. And but he said there's only been one race so far this season that he's really been unhappy about the way things worked out. Otherwise, it's pretty much been what it's been.
Well, with a man with that much experience and, you know, that much knowledge, especially in this fleet, then you take those sorts of, you know, words with full power, and it's really nice to hear that he's still absolutely confident in his team as well.
No, he's fully confident in the team, and he was saying, you know, where things different, and this is not a reflection at all on Peter. Peter's completely objective about his ability and his learning curve, and he's very early on that learning curve as a massively experienced owner, taking on the world's leading Grand Prix monohull circuit. He's fully aware of what he's trying to do, and it's not going to happen in the first season in particular. Although the one thing that we were chuckling about with Terry was he said, you know, I wish we hadn't won the Palma Vela Regatta because it sets expectations so high. But he said, you know what, you know, what else are you going to do? You know, it's me. If it's a regatta to be won, you want to win it. And so I think maybe this will be a pivotal moment for them. You never know. It's so much about confidence in this game as well. And I think that as much as anything, I'm certainly sure that a contributing factor is Peter feeling, you know, this is as much of a home regatta for him as if it was raced in Holland. He lives here a lot of the year. He's trained here with different boats, not least his Imoca when he did the Vendée Globe in 2016. Anyway, Platoon Aviation. I don't think there's much chance of Harmler Spreer doing the Vendée Globe in the near future, but he is really enjoying the tight racing.
Yeah, he'll be happy just sticking with, you know, leading the pack and looking behind him with a beautiful shot of all the other boats, you know, behind their team at the moment. But no, you mentioned it with these sorts of guys who have been in the fleet for so long and such incredible sailors. There's still a lot of performance you can get out of these boats to try and make them go faster and really be at the top of the fleet.
Indeed, but for sure, massive credit to what was the Quantum Racing team. It's not. It's something very, very different. We've not had it ever before in the history of 52 Super Series, where we've had the dominant team, the most successful team for ever in the history, be bought out, if you like, by a private owner. And it's massively exciting. It's something completely new and different. And we are, as observers, are really cherishing and enjoying the experience. And a massive thanks to Peter Harima for stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, and also I think it gives confidence for other, you know, owners of boats as well. If you do sort of buy into a boat and buy into a series and a circuit, then you are coming into, you know, such a great environment. You're trying to still push, and, you know, it's just it's evidence, right, isn't it?
It is indeed. But what's interesting as well, you know, you have that on one side of the sport, but it's interesting to see guys like Joachim Sundberg, and he's not the only one, you know, who are coming into the sport from ground zero with lots of money, lots of ambition, and trying to do it with less experience. But here we go then, Platoon Aviation coasting through the finish line. They're over 180 metres ahead, and I think Vasco, as much as anything, just will have a quick squint back up the race course to see where Sled are. But you know, a well-deserved win. They're a team who have been through the wars emotionally. Yeah, and they've been through the wars at different times. So a lot of their problems self-inflicted, penalties, and however, it's always great. They're always a team that come in with a late charge, and the charge is on today, albeit in relatively modest breezes.
Yeah, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? Always punching the front bunch. So well done from start to finish from that platoon team. They just kept extending their lead as well. But cool to see no way back as well.
Indeed, no way back coming through the line now. Katie, your thoughts on their race? It's a very clean performance, the best we've seen from them for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, super clean. They kept it clean the whole way round from the start. I mean, really impressive, really confident racing, and I think that was a very well-deserved result.
Anyway, and Vayu did not crack under pressure.
No, that's another keeper for them.
And just behind them, Paprec can be happy, I think, with fourth. Prevets are just charging in for fifth with their nemesis in some ways, their old boat, the Crioula. And then equally, head-to-head, Trinity and the Gladiator. I think Trinity will just get across the line with their bows in front. Gladiator actually have come in quite nicely in the end, making a few little gains down that final run. Alpha Plus head-to-head with Allegra. This is the 52 Super Series at its best. Close finishes all the way through the finish line. Alpha Plus pull their bow down, but it's too late to catch Allegri. And then on the other side, Sled coming through just ahead of Alkedo Setelar. And there's one boat, I think there's still to... Oh, sorry, no, of course not. We have, unfortunately, still waiting for final repairs to the rig for our French team.
Teasing Machine, who unfortunately are having to sit out the day once again. But great result for Harmula Spear and Platoon Aviation. No way back, a great second. Vayu keeping themselves in contention. I mean, credit also to Preveza. A solid result for fifth should, I think, keep them with a share of the regatta lead. And a solid result also for Paprec. We mentioned early on that Loic Perron has had to sit that race out with a back problem. Hopefully he'll get some the right drugs into his back, and things will ease up, and we'll have Loic back tomorrow. Here's hoping, but you never really know. But Katie, what's your overall thoughts on the race?
I think, I was thinking on that downwind, it's been a long time since I've seen so many jibes put in on a downwind. In this racing, it's quite often you kind of would maybe do one or two jibes, normally on the second half of the downwind, but on that one there was a lot of kind of position changes and a lot of jibing going on in the top half of the run. I think, which kind of shows that there's plenty of opportunities to be had. I think, as you were saying, with Gladiator doing a really nice job putting in less jibes than everyone else. But yeah, I thought that was super interesting racing, super interesting day. And this is one of my favourite types of racing to watch, to be honest with you, because there's always so much going on. And
Indeed.
It's so mentally, you're so mentally engaged with it all, and you can just imagine on the boat what the conversations are like, and kind of when you can imagine the boats that are doing well, like the communication and everything is probably really, really nice. And I just really like watching it.
I loved it. I mean, it's just move and counter move. There's something going on all the time. I really loved how Platoon Aviation got themselves clear just with the slight mode changes at the right time. But I'm also just looking at the breeze now, filling in from the windward, starting to see a few white horses. It'd be great to have a third race. And when you get white horses to windward, Katie, is that capping out front?
Doesn't matter where you're looking, it's always out back.
See, God, you live and learn. Every day's a school day in the 52 Super Series, isn't it? Anyway, there we go. Platoon Aviation German team, 3 times world champions, winners of the circuit in 2023, tied with Preveza that year. Platoon won on countback back in Puerto Portales that year, and in true sportsman, both Platoon and Preveza, they shared the trophy that year. As far as I know, I mean, the trophy went from Germany to Turkey halfway through the year. Anyway, Preveza then, 15 points for them at the moment. Platoon Aviation also on 15 points. Vayu on 17 points. Top 3 really, really tight. Vayu, good credit to them with that third. That just keeps them in contention. Crioula in 4th, 21 points. Paprec 25 in 5th. Trinity Racing solid mid-fleet on 26. 27 for No Way Back, just creeping up the table with that second, the best result, as I said, since the World Championships in Porto Cervo. Alpha Plus disappointing today, really. An 18-point score is really not what they're looking for at this stage. Gladiator ninth place just now, but 30 points for Alpha Plus, 30 points for Gladiator. Sled on 30, Allegra on 11th place on 33 points. Alkedo Setalar 43, really disappointing for them so far. They are that battle for the podium, I think 25 to 43. That we'll see, I think, potentially. Patrick, there we go, just as I was trying to work it out in my head. There you go, Sled then still leading the circuit, but only 2 points in it between them and Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation on the up, on the charge. Paprec take over third step on the podium by just a single point. Amazing after today. These two battles will continue, and actually no way back, giving chase in fifth. Nothing is lost for them. Trinity Racing in sixth on 194, 201 to 204. Alpha Plus to Prevetsa. Crioula in ninth. Vayu 10th, Allegra 11th, Gladiator in 12th, and Teasing Machine in 13th. So, Katie, I mean, just brilliant things coming to a head already. It's going to be absolutely a fantastic run into the end of the season in Valencia.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I love it when the points are tight, and they're only going to get tighter as we're getting closer. I mean, we've seen it all come down to literally, we do a whole season, we do 50 races, and it all comes down to 1 point in the last race, which is literally the most epic thing. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I think we're going to get a whole range of conditions still. Breezier end of the week, so we might see the teams like Sled and Paprec start to kind of get towards the front again a bit more.
Again.
Yeah, exactly. All to play for.
Robbie, I mean, incredible, isn't it? You know, when a 77, it's ironic. It's absolutely ironic that Francesco Bruni, Keko Bruni, was talking to me last week. We're, you know, doing our previews, and he's saying no lead is safe, and I don't think he expected his 17-point lead to be evaporating as quickly as it has. I mean, some of it self-inflicted, some of it Platoon Aviation sailing so well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that both those boats are so tight now, and we've only done 4 races in this regatta so far, so amazing to see that, you know, the points just shrunk so quick and so you know, early on in this regatta. So credit to Platoon for coming back. We obviously know Vasco and the team really want to be on the hunt, and they're definitely putting their best foot forward, but we really do like the points tight, and really cool to see.
Indeed, and it's certainly not over. The regatta's not over, and the season will bubble all the way through at boiling point until the last race in Valencia, I'm quite sure. Thanks for joining us today once again in Puerto Calero. Same again tomorrow, maybe a little bit more breeze. We're looking for a big finish, but we'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Step
Beach motor yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
Let me put it in a song. Every time you make that face like crawling to a damaged space, out of sync and out of tune, that frequency I can't undo. Please listen close. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just way up. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on my heart. Why you look surprised when we've done this all before? I'm not sure the highs really make up for the low.